Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring Challenger 2023. I'm Atlas, joined by Wolf here as we get into our second series of the evening and the final one that the global broadcast will bring to you this week. Very excited to see whether D+ Kia can keep themselves on the straight and narrow as they look to take down the blue shell themselves in Brion.
Yeah, Brion taking their first win of the season just recently, and have taken some games off of some pretty good teams here in LCK Challengers. Here are our standings. If you weren't here earlier, D+ Kia and KT.
This is going to be a close one, Wolf. It's going to be really close between these two teams. As you can see, very close in the standings to one another. If we had over the hill, you know, if you remember playing card games, like you can go like ace, king, queen, king, ace, 2, 3, 4. Then they would be exceptionally close in the standings. Yeah. Back to you.
Ace to 2. Well, yeah, as mentioned, a playoff team now up against Brion. Confirmed.
Yeah.
And Hanwha Life Esports also with that win, moving up to 9 wins. Just a little bit of a slip here from D+ or KT, and Hanwha could actually end the season in first place. Like, we're that close at the top here, where if Brion take their second win tonight, you know, maybe HLE move up a spot.
Yeah, the differential is actually really, really good. As you can see, Nongshim are actually ahead in differential against DRX because they've been getting 2-0s and DRX just haven't.
Yeah, that's actually wild with a 2-win difference between the two.
It's actually nuts.
That's great. That's like almost unprecedented. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, well, given the fact that they're, what, like 3 match wins behind them?
Yeah.
That's it's actually just kind of ridiculous. But we'll see whether Brion can push D+ Kia into dropping at least one of these games, allow things to shake up a little bit. Fun fact is that if Brion 2-0s this evening, then KT will actually be tied with D+ Kia in that first place position.
Yeah,
so if you're a KT fan, there we go. Yeah, it's fun, right? That was pretty fun. There was another fun fact, and that was that I was learning about why Onions got cancelled.
Oh, you found out?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Onions got cancelled at Bunnings, but I don't know why. So we're going to need that guy in chat to come back so that we can finish that one off. But maybe during the game, maybe not now, as we get all hyped.
Yeah, Pool Bay having a bit of a rough one. We just had the comms actually for Guti in that win last week for Live Sandbox. Pool Bay being pulled out a few times for Saint. I think this team just trying to experiment a little bit, as he's just channeling his energy right now. We'll see how he performs today, as it has been a bit of a shakier time for him.
Yep. Hey, Casters, can you also read chat during LCK matches? Theoretically, but no.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different vibe over there.
Yeah. And even if we do read chat, we wouldn't interact with chat. I don't think. I sometimes check it here or there, but I don't think it's the same as something like this, because we want to make this a more interactive broadcast.
Yeah, this is kind of like our way of keeping everything chill here, because otherwise, we'd end up casting super serious mode, and we would not be as nice or positive, I think, as we do when we talk with you guys. Is these numbers, you know, if it were the LCK, we probably wouldn't show these, actually.
Yeah, they're a bit sad.
But, hey, there's only up to go from here. And look, a 31-minute and 18-second game time means even in losses, they drag it out, right? This is very Brion-esque of them.
What's HERPG?
Herald percentage, I think.
Ah.
Or, no, sorry, excuse me, it's heralds per game.
Yeah,
we figured this out. Valdez and I figured this out. Doesn't look very, it's not a pretty acronym, but
yeah, but it's not great. Not gonna lie. There was actually, we did get to the bottom of it. A Queensland farmer who slipped on a stray onion at Bunnings has welcomed the hardware giant's controversial suggestion that the vegetable should be placed beneath the sausage at its charity barbecues. Wait, but that's saying that it's still there. Master of the Dark, we're gonna need more.
Yeah, that's really confusing.
Yeah. We'll need more from you.
It might just be because I'm trying to, you know, we're like juggling multiple ideas here. But
yeah, no,
I don't know, that confused me.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Rahel, this guy is very good. I would not say that he is the best on his team by any means. I think he's overshadowed by Pool Bay. I think he's overshadowed by Lucid, and often even Thanatos. But Enosh is the best player on Brion, so these are the players we have chosen. And by the way, Enosh just recently kind of coming into Brion. You see he's only played like, what, 6 games there?
Yeah.
Of Zeri. has been subbed in and out a lot this season, but more recently, kind of the mainstay here with Gyosu in the bottom lane. So we'll see how they perform tonight. They are the starting players for Brion.
Yep, see how they are going to do. Welcome with Anadolia. You haven't missed any Jeff Souls yet. It's been Mountain Souls only, I think, so far.
That's right. Double Mountain Souls so far. We'll see if we can go 4 for 4.
Oh, how many? Oh, that would be so mountainous. We could even go 5 for 5, theoretically. You know, depending on how lucky we get. Here we are into the draft. Speaking of being lucky.
This looks really familiar to a draft we had in the first series.
Yeah, I mean, it's still League of Legends, so I guess we're just going to use the same layout. For all of it. Oh, you meant the champions. Okay, yeah. Annie and Heimerdinger are both banned away, and there is the Elise and the Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn was banned on blue side throughout our last series, but this time DK not going to be able to play it.
Talia taken off the board here. A very interesting targeted ban.
I really do like this.
My favorite music in Challengers is actually the standings music. I think the standings music just really makes you feel like you're looking at standings. Like, it's so correct.
I'm really looking at these standings right now.
We'll see a Varus first pick here. Maokai really seems to have fallen out of favor here on 13.4. Playing Zeri, just face up into the Varus here. Karma is still available. Feels like a risky choice, a choice you could make. Like
it is a choice made on the Rift in this game right now. Sometimes you just want a Zeri Lulu, and you know, that's fine. I'd like to see Lucid play the Lee Sin.
I'd rather
from a
see,
selfish perspective.
I'd rather see Vi just because I like point and click on the Zeri.
They could just lock like Nidalee Jace, and then just say come, or just Nidalee Renekton and just do like the whole D plus Kia thing.
They certainly could have, and they're not even going to play the Karma. They think it's too nerfed. They're going to go for the Nautilus.
I kind of like it because then you're playing on-hit Varus into short range, and on-hit Varus kind of likes that. You do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I want to see a few more, like, if Bro are going to continue down like the very short range path, like I want to see Runan's really early in the build. Really early. Make sure that Varus is popping off.
They're not going to have any long-range Jace involved in this composition, so we're still keeping it short. We're keeping it short. That's banned away. And here for Brion, like, we might even see a Cassante ban. Frim has been one of the weaker top laners here in the LCK. Was like leading isolated deaths for a lot this season, and has kind of had that Cassante comfort. But they're actually banning more relevant champions here in the Renekton, and we'll maybe see a Jax ban here. Okay, this screams I'm playing Gnar. Yeah,
there's a lot of Gnar happening here. Of course, we've seen so many teams really enjoy Zeri-Gnar combos. Don't know why, necessarily. Just seems to be quite a stable way to help Zeri get towards the late game, and then he can participate very well in team fights. So I guess we do know why.
Silas ban here also empowers the Gnar pick now, which is...
They really want Frim to pick Gnar.
Yeah, they're like, please do, we'll play Camille. I guess is what they're trying to say with this ban here on the Silas.
Ooh, this is actually why it's really good that we read chat. It's because we get gems of knowledge, like believe in Yorick. I think Yorick would also be the best.
I've been talking with Keysun about that a little bit at the LCK, but this is what I was talking about. They bait this, and then they play Camille, and they have Lee Sin, so they're just going to try to punish Frim, and he's a weak link player for this team. Sadly to say, I think he is, and they're ready to like smash that chain in the weak link.
Oh, and now Aurelion Sol for Pool Bay.
You know what? It's blind.
Blind Aurelion Sol sounds dangerous, but
I think it works in this comp pretty well, especially with the knockup onto Zeri from far away, and it's kind of guaranteed. Then you have follow-up. Oh, it was the same color for like half a second, like okay, maybe like 1/10 of a second. I was like, maybe? No.
Not this time. Ryze for Pool Bay in that mid lane. The classic Ryze answer in the Syndra being considered here for Ivory.
Yeah,
I think
Ivory is a Syndra like one trick basically.
I don't like Syndra very much. I feel like she's just too binary. She either wins the whole game long, but it's never her. That is the reason why, or you just lose and don't do anything. is what I've seen. I don't know.
I do like that they settle on the Azir here because I think it's way better for what they're trying to do in this draft. Like, Syndra versus Ryze, you don't get a ton of prio. Like, you can get it. It's one of those matchups where if you play it really perfectly, you might get prio, but then you're vulnerable against Lee Sin, who's way more relevant early than the Wukong is. So, I mean, the problems you listed aside, like, there's also that problem.
Yeah.
And so I like the Azir more, and I think D+ are just going to try to play a slow bottom lane. They're not going to try to, like, get perma prio or push like a lethality Varus and Karma would. They'll just play it out like you would normally play in the old days before this new meta came through with Varus Nautilus. And then they're going to play topside. And Thanatos is going to get a lot of resources from Lucid, and they're going to try to kill Frim repeatedly and try to get a huge advantage and get a side lane winning condition. That's what I think is going to happen in this game. With the Ryze here, you feel pretty comfortable. You can even then Realm Warp topside and get that orange buff going.
I think you're right, and I also think that DK, like, they have such a clear path to a win at around 30 minutes, right? And by that stage, if things go to plan, Bros Comp doesn't actually do anything yet. That's the thing that's really difficult. A lot of the Azir changes are about gearing him more towards being that late game carry, and so that lane priority that you used to just get for free isn't there as much as it was in the past.
That's true. That's true with these changes. That's something I had kind of like slipped my mind on a little bit going into this one.
But it's still powerful, right? It's still like a few seconds here or there off some cooldowns, and you know, base mana's not so good, but then gets more late. Like all this sort of stuff. I think that if you're still a really, really good Azir player, you can play into the Ryze matchup comfortably, and we'll see whether he can get to that 6 and start scooping up some Ryze. And I'm also waiting to see whether we get more than one dude.
Yeah, let's find out, Atlas. Because if we don't get it, you and I are going to have to time it. But now we're like nervous about it.
Yeah, now we don't even know whether we should say it, you know? Like, oh, it's difficult. Are you guys ready for some dues? You got to be ready for some dues, all right? YouTube chat, looking at you. Here we go. Oh, I don't know who was right. You started a little bit early. It's what it felt like for me, but maybe I was a bit late.
No, I think we kind of nailed it. I think we did it.
Was it all right?
Yeah. What do you chat liked last time? That was fine.
I feel like we were off by just a little bit this time around.
No, synergy feels weird, man. Feels bad, man. Weird. Well, we've got potentially 2 more to fix it.
Yeah, that's all right. We nailed it too well in our first one. But this one was hard, right? Because there was a lot of space between the do's.
By the way, I've noticed that YouTube chat is really coming along. Like YouTube chats, they do the doo-doos. They
make doo-doo jokes.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I'm saying. And they're talking about how they love listening to us while they're working, which is what I do a lot of the time when I'm at home watching you guys at Challengers.
Hell yeah. And
the YouTube viewership is exploding. You know, I feel like YouTube is like, I knew they'd get there.
Yeah, well, it's just slow. You know, we knew they had potential. Very similar to Valdez and Chronicle. You know, just a lot of potential there. As Gyosu just fighting against Loopy here.
Level 1 going very well here for Pulbe. Now when he gets Phase Rush, he can even try to pressure even harder. Like, he has Phase Rush, obviously, but doesn't have the abilities to activate it. And see how this does continue to go. The top side is where I'm most interested for, because if Frim can stave off the pressure here, this draft doesn't work as well as I think D+ want it to.
Yeah, and Thanatos should be pretty comfortable playing up in this lane. We'll see whether he gets punished. Like, Raptor could come over, but we know that Wukong notorious for not being able to do too much in the early stages.
The pathing for Lucid, like, he's going to be able to put pressure on Raptor here, can then path top by annoying Ivory on his way. Like, they don't have prio bottom, so this is not as strong of a move.
Yeah.
Let's see what he gets done, though.
And Lucid coming on over here. It looks like Enosh and Gyosu not going to come on over, but Lucid's not going to push the issue. He's just going to walk back. Teleport into mid from Pulbe as he goes back, collects himself his tier to start stacking that one as early as he can.
Are my cats competent at eating lightly fried fish fillets?
Wait, what?
I think I need the. Can I ask for to get a rephrase of the question?
Wolf,
like,
are
do you
your
mean like,
cats
are they able to
competent?
steal those out of my like?
Can they eat them?
Yeah, can they eat them? I wouldn't allow it, but I bet that if I left one out, they would get into it for sure. As here comes Lucid, level 3 gank, as expected.
Going to be able to find that. There's the kick, and Lucid connects the Q, and Thanatos playing it beautifully. Really nicely dove. Wolf, you told us this was going to happen. What is Bro's response to this quite obvious game plan choice that they've gone for?
Try to get a Zeri plate bottom, because Wukong can't do anything pre-6 in this matchup, especially against the Nautilus, even with, like, the Nautilus itself tells you that they're playing around topside, because Nautilus could just defend any dive pretty successfully. And this was clean. But yeah, my cats will get into a fish fillet if that's left out, but we don't. We make sure that there's no food out for them to get.
With Thanadolia's cats eat people. We'll just let that sit. Sounds a little bit rough. I wonder what Shiny Magikarp's cats do, because his chat got deleted. So we've got a bit of hook here towards the bottom side. Loopy going in. Anosh taking a bit of damage, but you can see Rahel and Loopy just hanging out, chilling. And with this lane going even, for a Zeri, you'd normally be like, this is great, but I'm actually not feeling that, because this is also a Nautilus lane.
Yeah, it's a Nautilus lane, and this is a completely different type of Varus lane into Zeri. Like I was saying in the draft, like you just go lethal tempo here, you're also scaling, and you're going to play around top side, right? Where if Raptor was pathing bottom to top, which I think he should have done, then they are able to come up here and maybe stave off this gank. Remember, also, Lucid was able to scout and identify that Raptor path bottom. That's what he did before going top. And then they knew he was going top, and still they couldn't defend it because it's just really strong. Camille, Lee Sin in the early game, which is why you picked this, which is why they baited the Gnar pick with that Silas spam. This is all just layers upon layers here from DK. And I think KT might actually be the stronger team in Challengers. We'll see what happens when we get to the playoffs and the finals, but I think D+, by far the best drafting team in Challengers, like by a large margin. They're just so smart.
Yeah, I feel like they're similar to their team in the LCK in the fact that when they get it really well, and it looks really clean. As Poolbay doesn't get it, he's dead.
That was peculiar.
Yeah. Just a somewhat of an overextension, one could say.
I mean, that's pretty massive for the early game here for Brion. With no Rise here and with the back timing of Rahel, they're going to turn this into first Drake. So I wonder if Lucid comes down here to try to make something happen in mid, push this wave in, or if he actually just goes top and kills orange buff. I would have gone top myself.
It was an odd move. Bro going to be starting off this Drake.
Yeah,
they just
they're
looking to get in here. Okay, Control Ward goes down. Raptor already uses his Warrior Trickster, and that means that he's not going to be able to escape this. Poolbay locks him down, and he's still looking for more here as, yep, that was wishful thinking there on the Drake start. I
mean, that's the bait, you know? You just tactically int so that you can roam warp back to the dragon fight. No one expects that, you know?
No, you wanted to go, like, you know, death timers are really slow. He didn't want to reposition and press the button or, like, get interrupted. He's like, well, if you kill me and I'm, like, still farming while you're killing me, then fastest way home, baby.
Yeah, tactical inting in my challenges. I love to see it.
Yeah, that's the best way to int, really. Or it's the only good way to int, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this fight with a Realm Warp here, it's not winnable for Brion. They stick to the Drake. I mean, look, in Brion's defense, they knew that Rise was dead. So they're like, okay, well, we should have Prio in this. We make this happen. Varus back. But they didn't get it fast enough to actually get that advantage they were hoping for. So, and we are joking, like, Poolbay definitely did not die on purpose to make this bait play happen, but he certainly confused them.
Why do people want 100 duck-sized carriers? Don't really understand what's happening in Twitch chat. It's kind of losing its mind.
More carriers, the better. Valdez solved it already.
That makes sense.
I actually personally think, and this may be controversial, but I think the less carriers, the better. Like, I think there should just only be one.
Because that makes the one carrier more special?
Yeah. And also, like, if there's more carriers, then
if
how can we
everyone's
appreciate
carrier,
them?
no one's carrier. You know, we learned this when we watched The Incredibles for the first time. Yeah. You know? As soon as everyone's super, no one is. As Raptor, he's trying to take his Crux, but instead he's just getting kicked by this Muay Thai guy, based on the skin. course.
Yeah,
Not based on Lee Sin lore. But now he's going to go home. Does
Lee
have
Sin?
more farm than the Lee Sin. That's good.
He's not related to... Oh, hold on. This is a classic move. It's
Yeah,
fine.
some buttons.
He's not related to the training that I always forget that Master Yi and Wukong do.
Wuju style?
Yeah, the Wuju. He's not related
And
to
Wukong,
Wuju.
right?
Yeah.
It's like Wukong and Master Yi. They're the only the Wuju style
He doesn't.
champions
He's
that I
not.
remember.
Yeah, he's not Wuju style, right?
Don't think so.
All right. I don't know any League of Legends lore. I mean, I know
Because he's
okay,
a monk. He's like, but I don't know whether they're Wuju monks. Is that? Oh, he is. So Master of Dark
Oh,
says
he
that
is. Okay, so like, he seemed like he would be, but I feel like I would have known that if it was more obvious, if people knew. So he's like League of Legends
Wukong
lore.
is Master
Sometimes you
Yi's
just don't know.
student. But where's Lee Sin though in this? Because I thought he wasn't. I thought Lee Sin was his own separate thing.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I mean, I'm always wrong about League of Legends lore, pretty much. I mean, I watched Arcane.
Yeah,
Match
they're not
65.
related. Okay, so it's just Wukong and Master Yi as we know.
Okay, Lee Sin is separate. All right.
Yeah. Lee Sun. But what about Lee Sin? Cyborg Ninja Cat of Space. It's a very long Twitch name that you have there.
It's actually like that's probably like max characters right there.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
And
like the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog level.
Yeah.
Of, that's
I
a
like
long
it, though.
name.
Can you guys stop talking about fighting carriers now? Like, what's happened here? I don't know what's going on. Lucid going to be taking his red buff as, to be honest, like DK, this is perfect for the state of the game that they're in now. They will need to up the tempo as the game goes on, outside of the fact that they have the beautiful 4-1 involving the Camille. I think they probably want the game state in a little bit more of a snowbally fashion. Get that avalanche moving.
Yeah.
You know?
No doubt. They got the 1 kill top side, but D+ did, but they haven't been able to turn this into anything further, as they're going to get some plates here in mid. And this is 90 seconds before the next Drake spawn, so not using this Herald to
Oh, how did
guarantee a
Pulve
Drake.
miss those ones? He got the first one, then missed the next one?
Yeah, that was really weird.
That was wacky.
The plate radius, like I don't think it was changed,
The
but in my head,
timer is weird.
yeah,
now.
it's been super weird. Like just in these past few patches, it feels like in my head, this is probably not actually true, but it feels like the plate collection radius is going down.
Yeah, no, it's very strange. I know Faker missed one, and that's when you know that it must be real messed up,
Yeah,
because he would know.
he would know.
Mm-hmm.
Did I know that Brand, as Rise's student, got corrupted by power and got possessed by a fire spirit? I mean, no, I didn't, but that is interesting. It explains a
I
lot.
was pretty sure, I'm pretty sure Brand is actually Hugo Weaving from V for Vendetta. And that, if you want to know the lore, that you could just watch that movie. That or Ghost Rider with Nick Cage. But it's basically the same person.
Okay, this is a tricky way to try to keep your Gnar alive here and set up for some... It is, oh, they baited in hook shot.
He is very close to his turret, as Thanatos can't go overly aggressive with hookshot on cooldown, and he knows that. And Raptor is going to come on over, sees that that ward is about to die, and he's going to now back away.
Ooh, the dodge on the extendo into the blast cone over the
Cute.
wall. Loopy, man.
Unnecessary sick display of mechanics.
That's just what he does to his ex-team. He's like, you guys could have had me, but you didn't keep me.
Jerks. It could have been Feisty Loopy Gaming. It's actually so funny because Feisty's also playing quite well.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, you know.
Feisty and Loopy, they are kind of killing it right now.
They're doing good.
Breon had a good roster.
And it's also like, I don't know, I feel like Loopy's done something for how Rahel's playing as well, because I remember this bottom lane was very like nuclear Hoyt, you know, from DKs of the past.
Yeah.
And often just felt like a passenger. But they have been able to actually get things going themselves a little bit more this season, which is kind of cool, even if things have been not necessarily as dominant as they have been elsewhere on the map for D+. Enjoying what I'm seeing so far from them, as we do have ourselves a ocean rift this time. So no
Yeah.
mountains once more, but I like the flowers. I always have. I say this all the time. It's my favorite rift.
It does create some really fun scenarios in the Dragon Pit sometimes.
Yeah, the control ward in the back of the pit that no
Yeah.
one seems to check for some reason. Yeah. At every game, there is always like the other team that is not starting the Drake has a control ward in the back of that pit.
Yeah, it's wild. It's really good for Lee Sin also, because he can keep that back there and use it as a safeguard hop point. So
Did you know Mordekaiser is really old and also made from mostly iron? Yes, I think we did know that.
Yeah, that one I knew. But it has been a bit of a meme to just like tell me random lore facts, and they usually pick the ones that sound absurd, so I never am like 100% sure if they're trolling or not. Like I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe it's real. Somebody once was like, did you know that Annie is, or Tibbers is a demon? And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? And then someone mentioned Tom Kench was a demon.
It's Death Note. Basically Death Note. That's Annie's storyline. Yeah.
Is Tom Kench really a demon? I thought he was just a catfish chef.
I'm pretty sure he's a catfish chef. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that was kind of like my headcanon.
I thought he was just like a deep sea demon monster guy.
He was like one of Pike's mortal enemies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems about right.
Okay, this is a bit of a early setup here for the second Herald. Like, everybody's grouping up.
Oh, second Herald, definitely. This is where we need to have a game-deciding fight.
Yeah,
like bro, if I was bro, like this is where I would like just for all the marbles, because there is no better representation of all the marbles than second Herald, because it only means the message that you send by winning the team fight. It doesn't really mean much more than that.
Yeah, unless you're already so far ahead that you can kill a turret and maybe even get a second charge with it.
Yeah,
we're going for this. Don't know if we should be. In fact, I would suggest otherwise. Now you don't have Warrior's Trickster. The base over the wall.
You know, I've been making the same mistake. Valdez and I have been saying this over and over again. I think we just want Fizz back because we keep saying Playful Trickster instead of Warrior Trickster. I just want to say Decoy again, man.
Is the Playful Trickster when Fizz jumps?
Yeah, that's the pogo stick.
I miss Fizz.
Me
I played
too.
Fizz for like 3 months straight, and I was enjoying it. Okay, we'll have to talk about my Fizz story later, because we are doing the... Does anyone want to just decide a game on second Herald?
No, that's exactly what we're doing. This is the gentleman's agreement. Thanatos is making his way over. Frim still dealing with creeps. And Shirley she's bored. Hook is going to connect though. And there's the Q. See whether Lucid can actually find anything there as he decides not to go too far. Rahel's going to have to flash, but now he's not in auto range, and now it's Thanatos' time to shine. That Hextech Ultimatum kind of just pushed everyone to opposite sides of this volleyball court, and now we're just going to everyone back away.
So we went from let's decide this game on this Herald fight to let's just not do it actually.
Yes, Valdez, we knew that.
3 seconds. Yeah, everybody knows that, Valdez.
Yeah, idiot. Sorry for interrupting.
You just hate Jax so much, don't you, Valdez, that you like have to tell everyone his secret full name that everybody already knows. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to pronounce it, but...
yeah, we don't need to try. How was the weather today?
Oh, it was pretty warm. It was pretty warm.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit chillier when I drive home, but it was good weather to have bad traffic in today, because the traffic today was bad, man. It was really rough.
I wouldn't have known I was in a train.
Yeah, he went under the traffic. I went through it.
Going on that like old kids book vibe, I definitely made the right choice. Let's have a look at
double
this silly
TP.
fight again.
And Loopy actually starts this off so beautifully, and if the follow-up here is actually just the slightest bit cleaner, or if Lucid goes in faster, this is a 100% done deal in this fight. The flash was good to avoid Frim's Gnar there. Lucid does not commit, even though he has ultimate available. They just don't think they have enough damage. They still win the fight and still get the Drake, but it's not a... you know, turning a 4,000 gold lead into like a 7,000 gold lead winning team fight.
Yeah, like the team fight was even, and then DK were closer to the Herald afterwards, and so took it. And now Bro are going to start off this Dragon. This is one that, if DK want to, they can give it up. They don't really lose too much. They are going to be able to fight for it, though, with Shirley alongside them.
This is how you use a second Herald. Well, you time it perfectly for this contest. TP coming through.
Yeah, Bulbe coming on in here does have the Realm Warp to reposition if they would like to, and it looks like the Drake is going to go the way of Bro. But now the team fight, can they actually win? Is the question. As Frim's going to be the first to go down. Piercing Arrow doing some work here into the backline as well as, yeah, Anosh is going to flash his way out, and that means that Gyosu is just dead. And that's a double for the Camille. It's actually really awful for Bro that it's Thanatos picking up these kills because he's such a win condition.
Yeah, like if Varus gets it, it's also kind of bad, but it's not as bad. And if Pulbe gets it, it's bad, but again, it's not as bad because like Pulbe, he's scaling kind of automatically here with his rod. Like he's going to get stronger and stronger. He's farming extremely well. He's Rise. And they actually have so much control of the map. They're not even putting 80 carry mid. They're just keeping Pulbe mid as far as gets a full turn after this play. Fight is really clean here. Just isolate the Snar. Only gets Thanatos. So he's like, thank you for pushing me into Hextech ultimatum. And then the follow-up ult here from Loopy is so good. And Gosu does not have flash. Nothing he can do.
Nope.
And then they just instantly put Varus on a turret. He takes it out. Yeah, so now we're looking at a 6,000 goldie. We are pushing 4 to 6. Not 4 to 7, but 4 to 6.
Yeah, I'd give it about a 4 to 6 out of 10 for this one. But it is, like, I feel like your prediction at the beginning of this series did take away from its hype levels, Wolf, because you kind of said what was going to happen, and then it happened, and now we're here.
Watch a lot of LCK, you know, watch a lot of Korean League of Legends. I know what the parent team of D+ Kia's Challengers roster does. I know how they like to play. And it's funny because Lucid is having kind of a Canyon-esque performance on this pick right now. He hasn't like taken over the game, but he's just being extremely aggressive and threatening so much.
Yep.
So I do want to know, so is Karma, is she part of the, like, she's
Ionian.
Oh,
like,
she's Ionian?
Yeah, she's
I thought she was maybe Shurima.
Nah.
But she speaks that language, I don't know.
No, she's Ionian, but she's like casting spells and stuff, I think.
Ah, that's what she's doing.
I think that's what it is. She like does the yeah.
I always feel like she's talking about me because she knows I don't understand. Valdez knows this, man. Every time Karma says stuff when we're sitting on the desk waiting to do our segment, I'm like, what did she say, by the way? Like, can you translate that for me?
Yeah.
She always says that when I'm listening, man, every time. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good word, I'll be honest with you.
It doesn't, but it does sound evocative.
She's the spirit of Ionia, inhabiting a woman.
Named Dara. That's cool. Man, I kind of want to just like learn all of the lore from all of League of Legends from now until the MMO comes out.
Was Dara the woman that she's inhabiting also like she be a champion? Could Brad release her separately?
Is she like a shaman or something? Like Dara, was she like or was she like a nun or
Chat's
something?
like she's just a normie, like she's Chat's like she's a muggle. I'm like, all right, like okay, like. But like, what if she also had like her own set of powers and there could be an alternate champion?
Wow, she'd be like Jace, like Karma and Dara.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if Dara was just like actually Daria from the TV show Daria, and instead of actually having any abilities, she just said nonplussed things when you pressed each.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
And then just does nothing. Like, there's actually no outcome. Oh man, I want that to happen. Anyway, Lucid's going to throw a Q into that brush. Come on, mate. You're going to do that. You're going to throw a Q into the brush, aren't you? What are we doing? What?
They're just showing how little damage has been done to turrets. And
the turrets are still K.
Yeah, very little damage. Would have been more interesting if it was a perfect game scenario, but they have a kill and a Drake, so...
Yeah.
I get it. Yundo's trying to make it more interesting, though.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, all right, Rexer is going to use his Warrior Trickster to get out of that one. Depth Charge doing stuff, but
it's
not really
a lot of
that
knockup,
much.
Oh, no damage.
Frim?
I really want to know...
still splitting, and like, this is DK actually playing a beautiful 1-3-1.
Yeah, it's really clean. That's what we were talking about with the Rise.
Yeah.
Does he actually win this? I feel like he does not.
Yeah.
It's like 3 levels down against a Rise.
Yeah, Lucid comes on over so Ivory can't follow up. And have we seen... We saw an Emperor's Divide, right?
Wait a minute. Did we?
Oh.
Maybe on one of those Herald fights, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, just going to start this one up while also taking turrets, just getting the most macro out of this map.
Yep.
I want to know where Frim got his name. It's like the most tilting name to me, but I also like really respect it.
Isn't Frim like the best friend of a girl in a movie or a show or something?
Really? I mean, that sounds like it could be. Sounds like a very old-timey name.
Oh. Oh no.
Pulling a T1, pulling a T1.
Oh no. Oh no. Wait, he's not there. Wait, is he's still there? Holy! Okay, well, we're trying to jump into the back line here as Gyosu is in a lot of trouble. Had to wild growth himself. That means that this Zeri is a little bit more vulnerable, but not vulnerable enough, as it turns out, as Thanatos, he was on like the biggest mission, but then flubbed it sort of right at the end there, which was a little bit sad. Rune Prison comes down, and that is going to take down the monkey. There goes the Lulu. There's the Emperor's Divide that we were asking for from the grave. And Enosh, I think he's just going to have to skate this one out. Q's going to miss. Sprim gets out of there. And we're continuing to split while this is all going.
He's like, I guess I will Baron Empowered Recall instead of getting an Inhibitor Turret, because I don't know if they're going to come over here and punish me. They might. They were not going to, by the way. He absolutely would have gotten that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fight, we talked about the Cloud Rift, or rather the Ocean Rift, and how important it is. And it does get a flash off of Enish instantly, as Gyosu barely survives with his self-cast here. And the rest of this fight is just all about full bay.
Yeah, and it was a bit weird that we didn't see Thanatos go in a little bit earlier, but he was trying to wait for the rotation of his team, and so couldn't initiate with a hook shot out of fog. Yeah. That would have been really difficult for the Zeri to get out of.
It was a bit of showboating, it felt like there. It definitely
It ended in some steamboating, Wolf, is kind of what happened.
Yeah, lots of boats.
It's
the ship has sailed, so to speak, of this game, I would say at this point.
Would you say that the fish is in the boat?
Yeah, the fish is in the boat.
The fish is in the boat. We have not consumed our dinner, however, the fish is in the boat.
Fish is in the boat, ladies and gentlemen. The fish is in the boat.
Ivory
That's
just
the
gonna...
new eagle has landed.
Yeah. Oh, man. Frim's going to come on over. It does manage to at least remove Thanatos from the lane. But they're actually, like, D+, this is the thing, like, sometimes even their, like, mid to late game macro really does impress you, and I think it comes from games that they have control over the entirety of the time. Like, if they are on a roll with their decision making, they just continue to make good decisions.
Yeah.
If they have, like, these hiccups, these flubs in the mid game, that's when, like, I think maybe tilt comes into it or something like that. They lose the ability to communicate as effectively, and then it falls apart.
Yeah.
But in games like this, they look so good.
Yeah, they're just really good at macro. We don't really see macro like this, even from KT Rolls to Red, the only team that's close to them in the standings. KT just kind of move around the map and team fight constantly, whereas D+ are 1-through-1-ing, like a LCK team, you know? And
yeah,
it's just really fun to watch. As Loopy is looking for the flank, he has flash and ult. Could flash hook into ult. Gotta respect it.
Feels like a really comfortable game to be a Nautilus in. You know, you just kind of like walk there and say like, I could hook you.
Yeah, like you're never afraid. You're never trying to clear vision. There's just so much vision set up for you. So you're just like, nah, I kill you or you leave. There is no like, I'm worried about the situation. Look at his items as well. Locket and plated steel caps into Bramble.
Yeah, we got Wits End complete here from Rahel as well. That's the 3 items. 3 items for Arise, who has not been stunted whatsoever. Pool Bay is just massive. Kind of
Except
reminding
that one
me,
time he stunted himself, but that's okay.
He did. But that was just to get a quicker back.
Tactical inting.
Yeah, tactical inting. It's fun, totally fun. They're like 50% of the kills this game that DK have suffered were not even detrimental kills. That's the beauty of the whole situation here.
Is Wolf's Bilgewater mean that I seem like I would be from there, or does that...
No, in the MMO, which region are you going to start in?
Oh.
Is their question. And maybe we could take a moment to talk about like what we expect from each region and why we would pick them.
Well, before we do that, like I'll probably just say like I'll probably start wherever you and Valdez and Chronicler want to start, just so that we can like all level together and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I mean,
I think it might be like similar to if you play WoW, for example, where you have like a starting zone that doesn't last too long, and then you can meet up with your mates to level, I think. Is probably how it goes.
Yeah, not like Final Fantasy XI that I played recently, where I'm like, oh man, it's like you're walking for a really long time to go to the next place where you can meet people. Like, you are walking. You don't have a chocobo, and if you had the, you don't have the license for the chocobo, but if you did, it would have cost. You wouldn't be able to afford riding it anyways. Like, you're just walking for a long time. You're glad there's an auto walk button in that game.
We actually kind of like on-hit Varus in this comp.
Yeah, in this comp, it's fine.
Especially when it's played with a Nautilus. Because everyone's kind of low range on the bro side of things, so as long as you can avoid getting scooped by Ivory or Frim, you should be absolutely fine. Plus, it's got a stopwatch. So
the win con in this game is not to shut this area out of lane. It was actually just to get soul laners ahead with the Lee Sin pick. So you don't actually need to have the lethality Varus pushing on these areas, which is why the Nautilus pick is also great. In case Raptor decided to dive, he would have a terrible time. And you just kind of freely scale as the Varus in this game.
Yeah. And I think like if you wanted to like go all in on the 1-3-1, lethality Varus is better. But if you want to have like some ability to do consistent damage in a team fight, then you're very happy with the Varus. As Thanatos is going to jump onto Frim, tactically sweep him, and not too much more is going to occur.
Trap has been set. That did not hit. I don't think that Sonic Wave. Maybe they actually get him.
And this is the thing, like if you're against a team that knows how to split push, you try to do things like this, and you are losing so much money everywhere. And look, they never check this damn
we talked about it.
And he just smites from it. But of course he does, because he was in the pit. For goodness sake. Oh my goodness.
Every time.
And now everyone's going to get knocked up. There is another Emperor's Divide, but what's been divided is all of Freon's hopes in this game.
You and I just like cast this game before it even happened.
Seriously,
like
dude,
we didn't even need the game to happen. We really are AI from the future. Like, this is actually just so hilarious.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's not
I
R
can't
for
believe
R,
I molded about it before it even happened, and then it happened in the worst way.
Rahel, that R's for RNG, man. That's not for your name, dude. It's okay. Well, that is a very one-sided, but 30-minute game, which we also called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Game here.
Pretty quick one, as everyone is just going to press all of their buttons and their abilities. And yeah, Breon looking forward to game 2 rather than any dwelling on that one.
That's going to be a Lucid vote for me.
For me, it is a Lucid vote, I think.
Right,
or is it a? Do I do like the 5-head tactical int pull bay vote? Nah, it's a Lucid vote.
All right, I'll put it in for you. Jungle times 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, that game was pretty self-explanatory, pretty pre-castable.
Yeah. We actually, I think we casted the game before the game happened, and then while the game was happening, we spoke about League of Legends lore most of the time.
That was the kind of game where I feel like if you could have a frozen cast like in your freezer, like I just pulled our cast out of the freezer and like heated it up.
It's like, oh babe, I'm tired tonight. I don't think I can do this series, so I'm just, we'll just get this one out of the fridge. That's okay,
I put the
right?
vote in the wrong chat.
Oh no!
My bad.
Quickly. Jungle. Times 2.
I put it in the wrong chat. Oops. All right, wait, that was the frozen cast, yeah.
Yeah.
Just put it in the microwave for a few minutes or like in the toaster oven. It's fine.
And then if you you just get it to fit your game, so no matter how long it goes, you just like speed us up or slow us down and just fit it in there.
I mean, it's
That's
basically...
why our voices were a bit weird.
When we get the T1 versus Gen.G finals again in spring season in LCK for the 3rd time in a row, like maybe we'll have to pull a slightly more hype frozen cast out for the narratives.
Yeah.
V12 Faker versus Chovy.
Yeah. And also
we've seen this one before.
But like that's what you do with like frozen food as well, because sometimes you get home, you're too tired to cook, but you still want something a little bit fancy, so you get the little bit more expensive frozen food from out of the freezer. There we go.
The LCK meal kit.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe that he was just standing in the brush. And it didn't even matter, because they were just going to split push the game to the end anyway. 1 Drake and 2 kills. That was all bro were allowed to have. And Lucid gets it. There we go.
Unsurprising.
Man's real good.
184 CS.
Damn.
He got a lot of farm. He took the whole map.
That's a lot more farm than I was expecting from Lee Sin. 30 minutes. Huh. There you go.
His hair is like so. It is the most Lego haircut I have ever seen. Like, you cannot convince me he's not a Lego right now.
No, he's actually that is actually
literally
a Lego figure.
I love Lucid.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw shade, but like, just looking at this picture and I'm like, I don't know, guys.
You can't
He
throw
is a Lego.
you can't throw shade because actually the hair just goes perfectly
so
to his forehead.
Yeah, it's
no
insane.
shade possible. It just blends.
Like,
Whoa.
the sideburns are actually just drawn onto his head, like on the Lego. They're not a part of the hair.
No, it's actually a plastic helmet that he's wearing. It's
Yeah.
not in fact hair at all.
Perfect game in Challengers, never. Perfect hair in Challengers, right here.
Right here on your screen. We don't have the perfect games, but we have perfect KDAs and perfect hair. The L in Lucid stands for Lego. Legocid?
Legousid?
Legousid? I'm okay with it.
So,
Legousid? Legousid? We do sound a little bit drunk sometimes. We're not.
Nah.
I promise you that.
Drunk on pizza we ate earlier.
Hey, absolutely. It was actually pretty good, surprisingly. But we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come back for game number 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's LCK Challenger 2023 Spring. I'm Atlas. This is Wolf. Commentary time, both of us. Now, Wolf expecting some good League of Legends today from these teams. Got it from one of them so far.
Thank you, Atlas. I'm myself personally really excited for Game 2 because Game 1 was a really clinical performance from D plus Kia, and I think that if we see a similar draft here again on blue side from them, we might be going for a 4-0 night, and that means we'd go home pretty early. That being said, I'd love to see Breon really bring it back here too, because they like to do that against D plus Kia. They bring it to 3 gamers all the time.
I know they want to play the game and do the things, Wolf, but it's difficult when they're a team that has less players that are good.
Well, there are skill gaps, of course, to be considered here in the Challengers region, or Challengers League. I don't know why I always call it a region. It does feel like a different region.
I can't handle it because you're just like trying to speak weird, and it's not an accent. It's just weird.
It's just who I am sometimes, Atlas. It's just who I am sometimes.
Bro selected the blue side guys after their loss in the previous
I don't
game.
even know what I sound like through the microphone or like what my voice would have been like.
I liked
I'm
it
sorry
though, whatever it was.
Sorry for what you guys all had to experience.
I sort of lost it there, but doing a perfect Christopher Walken. I feel like I used to be better at it. I practiced a lot. I watched Pool Hole Junkies like at least 11 times.
11 times?
Mm-hmm.
At least 11.
Which is probably the amount of times anyone's ever watched that movie ever, because no one even knows that movie exists. But I personally absolutely love it. I did do once an entire cast as Christopher Walken back in Australia in 2013.
Well, sounds like my uncle got his throat cut on barbed wire. I'm really sorry about you.
Sorry about your uncle, man. That's a monker right there. Oh God, my face exists on the broadcast. Lucid fan right there though.
As soon as the OT at her college finished, she came here right away. See, Deep Key win.
Ooh,
that's there's so many different acronyms for D plus Kia.
Deep Key. It's like
Deep
high
key
key.
is
It's
the
like a
new one.
high key victory. It's like not low key when it's ostentatiously winning.
We will have Paulu subbing in for Gosu.
What would you say Polu's advantages are here for Bro?
Well, I think he has a better grasp of melee supports, which is not what they played last game, but maybe they're planning on playing a melee support this time. Although I think Gosu's Lulu left a lot to be desired in that last game, so perhaps that's why he's being subbed out, or maybe they just want to get some more experience for these players. It's always hard to tell here in Challengers.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because he wasn't in the last game, maybe that's a good reason to bring him in for this one, just to try and lighten the mood a little bit. We did see an early disconnect. Don't want to name names or anything like that, but we did see that in the previous game, and that can allude to, potentially some heatedness from both of these teams, but we'll see. I don't want to read too far into it.
It's true. Lots of D plus Kia fans here in the arena tonight.
There's a serious question here, Wolf.
Yeah.
And that is, why D plus Kia, not Damwon Kia? And
okay.
It's a genuine question. I think the reason is because the amount of mispronunciation from the global broadcast and international events from Damwon has led to them needing to change their name.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Dracos will be able to figure this one out. I don't think he's going to run around saying Deplus. Deplus Kia.
Deplus.
I always just
Kia.
love to call Dracos out on Damwon.
Yeah.
It's just been one of my hobbies. I love Dracos, by the way, but
I think
come on.
I think Daniel's accent is the most egregiously angled towards Damwoning. Because Vedius does it as well, but it feels to me like he'd be better at doing a Damwon, and he did. He changed it.
There's another, as we have these drafts, nice target on this Lee Sin here against blue side, but where we're seeing more Lee Sin. But the other one that Dracos does that's so Damwon is Malrang.
Malrang.
He's got that one. I mean, look, if you're American and you haven't spent a lot of time practicing how Korean spelling translates into pronunciation, it can be tricky. So I'm not trying to throw shade, but it's been a while. Come on.
I could and I haven't learned Korean or anything like that. Obviously, I don't speak the language, but understanding how the sounds worked took me about 2 years to really understand. If I was going to talk about say a food or something like that, I'd use the Korean word, but at the beginning it'd be a really wacky one.
Oh, is he going to play in Italy? No.
No. But they are going to get the Annie, which is actually kind of a big deal. As Bro, back to basics. They're back to the forest.
Okay, so Maokai with the Zeri. Lulu probably coming in hot. Yeah.
Oh.
Are we really going to play Maokai into this? I think it's okay, but they need a lot of
Well,
more
Polu
strong.
has 3/4 of Lulu's name within his name.
That's true.
So that means that obviously they're going to have more synergy. Now we have Twisted Advance Wild Growth synergy, theoretically.
They can play Varus here, but they can also just play like a Draven lane with Annie and then keep the support in. I'd say that even though some of the ranged supports and like the ranged sickle supports are nerfed on this patch, you still can do it. I think the LCK will look a little bit different from challengers this week, but I think we're going to see a lot of the same picks.
Love this.
There's the Draven. We pulled it out of the freezer this cast.
You know? It's another one out of the freezer, straight out of there. It's a one-size-fits-all based on 13.4 at this stage. Nothing to really throw any spanners in the works. We'll see whether the bans are going to change things for that.
13.5 we'll talk about when it gets closer to release.
All R4 Kassadin angle?
Yeah, could be.
Mod check?
Actually kind of makes sense in this draft, too. A little bit of scaling power.
Yeah. Not a lot of range, but maybe we don't care. But we should care, because it's Maokai.
Yeah. I think they really need a lot of range damage. Like, we might even see... I mean, I think this is fine, but like this could be a game where we see something like a Callista Draven lane and Annie's played mid. Depends on what Ivory ends up blocking in here. They could also just ban Syndra here and be like, you're not playing that, by the way, lol.
Or they could just get rid of the Azir, I guess. But I think now, like, the Azir did not look like a very powerful pick. And we have actually seen, I'm pretty sure we've seen
Frozen Cast.
Yeah, it is actually Frozen Cast. Haven't we seen Tristana's kind of picked into Rise as well?
Yeah. Any lane where you want to just get ahead early or you're going to get rolled later.
Right? Yeah. And reliable escape, blah, blah, blah.
Let's see if they ban... All right, well, I was going to say, let's see if they ban a range support here or if they're like focused on mid lane. They're just taking away the Gnar.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Renekton should be just picked up here.
Insta-call.
Can you read Steep Clock's name?
Where is that?
It's just there.
Hello, Steep Clock. I notice you.
There we go. Look at that.
I didn't notice you at first, but I notice you now.
Yeah, it took us a while, but then we got there.
I love that cat emote.
Boys, y'all sound tired? Chimek tonight to reward yourselves?
I mean, I already ate dinner, but I might get some mech when I go home.
Yeah.
It's Last of Us night for me, so, you know.
Some mech may happen. Chimek maybe not so
Scion into this is actually pretty good.
I like Scion into Renekton.
Oh, he's just going to lock the Syndra because that's what Ivory plays, even though it's not great for the draft here. I hope we do not do this.
Does Pulve just...
Oh, is Jace still... no, Jace is banned.
It's kind of a Swain angle.
You know what? Actually, it kind of is. It actually really is. This would be the one time where I'd be like, yeah, I actually really like Swain in this comp, but this is just comfort. He's going to lock away.
I want it to be the Swain angle. I think Pulve's going to do it. Because Annie Draven's so good as well.
Into Syndra especially, like, yeah, you can have some problems in the early laning phase, but you're going to be winning all the time. They just want to play Kassadin, though. That's why they banned the Tristana.
Yeah.
They want to make sure it was a matchup where you don't get really...
But when are you ever going to blind Tristana? You know, like, I don't understand, like, why you
It's a pretty weird ban. It is a weird ban.
But maybe they weren't too worried. Pulve just going to be happy to play the Kassadin into the Syndra. Difficult in the early stages, absolutely. Oh no, it's going to be Syndra support now, definitely.
Remember that one time when like there was a niche Syndra bot meta?
Yeah.
And then who was it who played for Gen.G who played it? He was like a mid laner who had to play AD carry because of COVID, and then he played it.
Is it Ophelia?
Yeah, I think it was him. Yeah, I think it was Ophelia who did that. I'm pretty sure. That was pretty funny back then. Where it was like unironically a good pick in LCS, and then he was like, well, I'm a mid player who has to play AD carry, so I'm going to do this.
And it's also how Viper became like the third best Vladimir in the LCK as an AD carry player.
Yeah.
That meta was fun.
Awesome dudes.
I love the awesome dudes meta.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think that the Maokai pick is the Maokai and the Syndra here for Brion are the weak links for me. I don't think they're very great for this composition, but I like the Scion with the Zarya, especially into this low-range comp for D+. But Kassadin plus a Draven kill lane and the Renekton power here for mid-game team fights makes me feel like we might have another one-sided one on our hands.
It could be. The Maokai will need to get a lot of value immediately after that level 6 has been hit. Lucid this time not going to have as much early power with this Wukong, but the lanes I think are naturally kind of okay for D+ in top and bottom lane. Kassadin going to be trying to do his best to go even with the Syndra, but I don't think mid pressure is as important now for D+, just because they have the Renekton and the Draven lane.
Also, Wukong versus a Syndra who's trying to put on some extra pressure, you can win out in this lane. Like, Pulbe could get an extra early kill if Ivory is trying to push this lane too hard. And Maokai isn't really going to be very helpful in those exchanges. Like, he can root, but you're already like trying to push forward as Syndra anyways and trying to set up stuns. You might not have a follow-up. So vision and what Raptor does in the jungle here are going to be really important. Otherwise, Kobe might actually not only be comfortable in this lane, but ahead, depending on where the pressure goes. Could also see Wukong try to gank early in the bottom side, but I don't think that's really going to happen because Rahel and Lupi should have some pretty solid push there.
Yeah, I assume they're just going to hover, you know, do the classic babysit type situation. Looking back on it, I'm less against the Kassadin pick, just because double AP and the Lulu also being magic damage means the Merc Tread's value is just insanely high.
It is. Somebody Uki is saying in the chat, Syndra just never seems like a strong pick. It's Ivory's comfort pick. He's basically a Syndra one trick, so he picks it in every type of draft. Luckily for him, at least he now has a lane where he's trying to get hard prio and trying to push really hard, so it kind of makes sense in that microcosm. The problem is the rest of the draft makes it not so great.
Yep, and also the team names and stuff like that make it a bit difficult for Bro to win this one as well. So there are a lot of things on the shoulders of this young mid laner as he attempts to be the one winning lane that Bro have at the beginning of this one. I think as the game goes on though, like as far as like just take the nameplates off and see what a team fight does, like Bro have got some answers there.
Oh sure.
But I just don't think that it'll ever really matter. I think Mikoyan is a little bit potentially correct in this game.
I am a little bit worried as we do have a sound issue. Freeman and Raptor seem to be unable to communicate with the team.
Oh, that's not so good.
I feel like the Zeri setup here is not good enough for a team of this caliber. Like the ways in which Zeri needs to be empowered with like a really strong front line. You have the Scatter the Weak, like you can help set her up in that way, but when you have to protect her against all of these threats, the Annie stun, like she gets hit by Flash Tibbers, it's done. Like literally done instantly. Gets hit by Wukong engage, instantly done. It's just over. So Kassadin gets on top of her, it's over, right? So you have to be really careful. Nuclear fan here in the audience.
Oh, that's cute.
I guess
like
he's
how
casting
it's got,
today.
Like, his face, yeah. I met him in the casting room earlier on today. Hasn't been doing his nuclear family as much recently. Has made me a little bit sad. I remember asking him about it when we got here for our first cast.
So many pros, or ex-pros I should say, coming in and doing some guest casting and challengers, and it's so funny to watch Nuclear just like teach them a little bit. I'm like, wow, he's really coming to his own. He's like explaining to the casters what they should work on and what they should focus on in the broadcast. He's a leader of the casters now.
It's very cute. Do you know what's also cute? Do-do-dos.
Oh yeah. I was way too early.
I think you were a bit scared. You were a bit scared, and I think it's the pressure. I also might have been too late.
Nah, I think I was just really early. I don't know. Let's see what chat thinks, but I think I was way early.
I committed very hard, so maybe just because of that, I get extra points because I really did a giga commit.
Unsealed spellbook.
Yeah,
everything
we were both
else
wrong.
Oh, we were both wrong. All right.
Apparently. Maybe it's stream delay because we've got like a random speaker in the back as well. So maybe we're all just wrong.
Well, Paulo's going to get some Spell Thief's Edge value as Lulu builds Spell Thief's Edge like so fast.
Yeah.
Picks.
That's true.
Like, whenever I play Lulu, it's so satisfying at level 1. If you get that picks value, you're like, ooh, the money. Look at that. 60. Like, they are showing like 60 gold, 560 total.
There we go.
Also, Annie, 560 total, though, so
kind of fun. Even trade arena. As Pullbait is just going to be delivering some spheres of null towards Ivory, who is going to be delivering some spheres of darkness towards Cassidy. Of just sphere. It's a sphere off.
Yeah, they should really make a Syndra skin where the wait, the spheres of null are Syndra spheres, right? Or
no, they're the dark spheres.
Ah, dark spheres. Okay, never mind.
Isn't it? It is null sphere, right? Q from
the Q for Kassadin?
Pretty sure it is. I don't think that one's changed.
Well, I was gonna say they should make the spheres zeros with a line through them and make it a null skin, like a calculator or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's not, then I said the name, and then if I do the Q name wrong, then never mind. You just said it, and then I was like, oh, okay, I probably have the name wrong because Atlas knows all the names, and he did know them all. I just misinterpreted.
Well, I don't know all the names. I don't have all of the Heimerdinger names.
Know all the names? I feel like you know all the names.
I know most of the names. The Heimerdinger names are hard, though, because they're basically reading a barcode. That makes it difficult.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, those are a little bit weird.
And it's easy to say rockets, grenade, turret. You know? Big turret. Big rockets. Big grenade.
The Heimerdinger ability names are like something you get from like the Weasley Twins store or something. A little bit silly named. Joke shop names.
Brim? Soul Furnace. It's going to help him stay alive. Does get the explosion as well. Feels good.
Yeah, that actually turned on its head pretty quickly there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Thanatos still very happy with the exchange, but he might be flashing for a kill if that did not go that way.
Absolutely. As Pulbe is pretty happy in this lane. Ivory's still waiting to get a few extra buttons so that he can put on some pressure. Yep, Thanatos, he has Culdamik, so he should be all right. Just to heal back up. Has that wave for him to deal with now. So far, things kind of okay for Bro, though. You know? All things considered.
Definitely solid so far. And this lane on the bottom side, the trap is being set. That ward, though, is going to give it away.
That is a bunch of value. Yep, Raptor is going to be seen, and Loopy is going to try and keep him somewhat interested. I actually really like that, the walk forward to be in somewhat dangerous range, but they do have full information, and Raptor knows.
Here comes that advantage I was talking about with Pulbe, getting a gank for him.
Yep, and Ivory's going to have to back away. Gives Pulbe a lot of time to get into this wave, right? Scatter the Weak comes through. Lucid is just going to make sure that Ivory has to go as far as possible to go home. And this is just, look at this lane state, man.
Yeah, this is like,
oh God.
This is horrible for Ivory. And Lucid can make an impact here pretty massively, pretty early on, but it won't be able to do a whole lot for bottom. The second that Raptor shows, he makes this play mid and forces Ivory out, gets a teleport, and gets full bait in this really nice lane state. And also look at where the bottom duo is now. As soon as Raptor shows and then leaves, they come back and they're like, oh, I'm pushing hard. And, you know, just goes to show how they were trying to set up that bottom lane to make this mid play. Fullbase still has teleport, so he's just trying to use his health and mana as a resource.
Yep, go home.
Come back.
Man, feels good having Catalyst back. That's all I'm saying. Still, it's every time I think about Kassadin going home, I'm like, oh man, it's so hard to play as Kassadin. And now, I'm like, you just get a little bit closer to your Catalyst, and you're feeling absolutely okay. I did have a question in chat, Wolf.
Yeah.
And that was, Atlas, what is your favorite Void champion? And I think it's an interesting question, because I really like Kog'Maw. I've always really liked Kog'Maw. I really like Cho'Gath as well. I like Kassadin also. I think that he's also a cool champion. There's a lot of Void champions that are really cool. Rek'Sai is also really interesting.
Vel'Koz is a Void champion too.
Yeah,
right?
Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz is one of my favorites for sure.
Bel'Veth is cool.
Yeah.
Man, Void is the coolest. That's why I'm starting in the Void in the MMO. I think it's pretty dope.
Everyone
I also
says...
really like Yogg Saron from Ulduar in Wrath of the Lich King. And Ulduar was my favorite raid. Yeah.
Somewhat related, tangentially.
Yeah. I think old gods are definitely from the Void.
I feel like I have to start in Bilgewater because that's what everyone in chat is telling me to do. I don't know what it means, but
I think you're a pirate.
I think it's a compliment.
I think you're a pirate. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to be a pirate.
Pulbe is really putting the pressure on here now. This lane, he has a pretty massive advantage. They're going to turn this into a Drake. It is not the game state you were looking for here as Brion at this point in time.
And you know how we were talking about, like, oh, Ivory's going to have that lane control. He does.
Loopy has stun too, so he could turn with this. They don't have 6. If any of these players have 6, this is the easiest turn. They're still using the plant.
Not going to be able to drop any bears on them, and Loopy's going to have to flash away. Not sure about that. If he had Tibbers, then maybe. As the train is going to come through a little bit late for any dragons, but that's okay.
Look at Loopy's face too, though, on the player cam. I actually think that's one of those moments where you're like, oh, hold on, team. Blast cone into stun, like, hear me out. And they're like, I don't know about that, Loopy. And he's just like, oh, I'm already over the wall. And then, like, Enos just like, glad I took cleanse. And then he has to flash back. So, I mean, it was a cool idea. Like, it was flashy. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Ultimately, not the right call. And they will give the Drake up and a flash up. But Renekton, 2 plates.
Yeah, and the +2 plates is, I think, more of a worry considering the Drake that we have upcoming, right? Like, it's 420 until we get the Infernal Drake, and just a singular one of those you're feeling real happy about. As, yeah, Thanatos is just going to continue having a good time here until Prim can kind of deal with it with the amount of armor that he can build up. But I still just think that Renekton holds onto his value for so long in this game. It's pretty crazy. Especially with your ability to cut shields now, like, I don't know, feels less good as a Zion.
Yeah, he's just not ever going to be under threat in the side. Like, Syndra's not going to really be a problem for him until way later, if ever, because if the game state, you know, starts to turn towards D+ at the timing that we expect, where you start getting those items online, here's the Kassadin, that's when the Syndra's like, oh, but I won't be up against a Renekton, I'll be up against a Kassadin, and
yeah, and I think if you're anyone on Bro and you're thinking about having to be up against a Kassadin, you're just unhappy.
Nope.
It's just not a good thing. There is an avenue, you know, Enosh could theoretically be the guy to carry this one through. It's like, it's always the way with a Zeri, if Zeri potential win condition. But if Rahel gets any cash-ins or anything like that as this game comes along, it's going to be real tough. And he's building towards his Essence Reaver now. It does have the casual serrated Dirk there as well, so we might see the Eclipse build coming through from Rahel.
Looks that way.
Okay with.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do. With a Dirk this early and the potential for an early cash-in, Brion are kind of timid on taking early fights, as they should be. Because if he gets a cash-in, that's kind of guaranteed a safe sail towards Pool Bay's late game win condition.
Yeah.
And that's what comps like this do. This is the typical 2022 DRX, like, oh, okay, Kalista Deft and the Azir, Rizeka in the mid lane. And they're like, yeah, just scaling.
Yep, or the Corki.
Yeah, or Corki.
We'd like to see in the past.
It's like, yeah, we got a win condition for the early game. I got a better win condition for the late game.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe you've got a Gangplank top as well, which is another win condition for the late game. This time we don't have anything like that, as Raptor is going to punch Lucid a little with his Brambles. Sorry, smash him. That's what it is, it's Bramble Smash.
Yeah, he's smashing the...
Do you guys remember when Maokai was Arcane?
I do, because, and like I would have forgotten about it by now if you had brought it up all the time, but I remember.
Yeah.
Because you bring it up a lot.
I do, I like talking about Arcane Smash, don't I? Because maybe I just get upset about having that in the forefront of my brain and then having to remember Bramble Smash. But I also remember Vengeful Maelstrom, which is even less relevant. Arcane question mark, yeah, exactly.
Assault and Battery is the old Vi ult, right?
Yep, and now it's Cease and Desist, which is really silly.
I always just say Assault and Battery now because you've put it in my brain.
Oh, nice!
But like, I'm down for it, you know?
No, I think it's fine. I think it's the same as like the rat-a-tat-tat spray and pray situation. Yeah. If we say it enough, maybe it'll come back. Do you want to... You like speaking German, right?
No.
Uh-oh.
I'm just not good at it.
Yeah, but you spoke a bit of it in the past. Because you could bring back Lux's old ultimate as well.
What was that one called? I do remember this.
I think it was Final Spark, but in German. Finalis Fulken?
Somebody in chat let us know. Kein Deutsch. No German.
Is it Funken? Anyway, that's what it used to be called.
Right.
And they changed it to Final Spark, and that's a little bit sad.
Was she German before?
Don't think so. Where's
By the way,
Demacia?
Frim is like, this is a solo queue game now.
Yeah, he's like the boss, something like that. I don't know. What's
I like how we like literally haven't even addressed the fact that Frim is between inhibitor and inner,
and like so
Thanatos
is
over here.
Thanatos. Like we're just like we ain't laning anymore.
So tired of this annoying crocodile hitting my armor. This crocodile's like, I'm so tired of dulling my blades on your armor. The problem is that Thanatos actually is a threat, whereas Frim is not while he's over there. He's going to come over here and contest this Drake. And right now this is very awkward for Brion because they both don't want to allow this Drake, but they also can't really fight well at this stage, as Frim is also here.
Yeah, making his way in. All right, there's the Cyclone to start it up. They drop a bear on him. As now Raptor is staying alive for so long. The tree tanked basically everything. And now Poolbay's trying to get away, but he's going to be able to do so finally. Enosh gets into the fight. And this is when it should just be over for D+ Kia. The flash out from Enosh, and he's not done just yet. Thanatos looking for him. Slices, dices, gets himself away. Does still have flash and doesn't use it. And so he's dead.
Okay, well, this was not exactly how D+
My
wanted
bingo
to.
card, where are these options?
Yeah, this was not in the ingredients list on my Frozen cast. Well, yeah, that's T-Scion, so it's gonna be fine. But the start of this fight, everything is thrown into Raptor, and then he does a massive amount of damage with a smash. He's got that Ivory follow-up. It's kind of crazy how D+ really just didn't give themselves any wiggle room in this fight. Like, we kill him easy, and then they couldn't kill him, and they're like, all cooldowns are happening, so we're just gonna kind of not be able to do anything after this. This is a level 7 Maokai. Lucid goes in, Cyclone follow-up, Flash, Tibber stun. Poolbay is here, and then the Wild Growth is massive, the Smash is massive, the follow-up here from Ivory is big. Poolbay is essentially dead. He does survive here, but the fight is done. Then they can continue to chase. Enosh ults, there's a flash, and now thank you for the drink.
Yeah, and then Thanatos decides that he wants to try and catch up to Enosh, but he then just gets stunned and killed. I think maybe he just mistimed. I think he was planning on flashing, but the scatter happened outside of the timing that he was expecting, and he just blew up. But this is definitely not part of the DK game plan. However, less of a bad thing for it to happen in this game as opposed to the first one, because they now have the Kassadin that does allow them to have those late game win conditions. However, it is Hextech Drake, and Bro already have 2. That Infernal to be picked up is definitely a lot of value. And so, I don't know. I think that this is definitely the Zeri WinCon angle.
I think that D+ had, especially in that last fight, like their turn is amazing if they can group up on the objective faster with this Renekton and with the Cyclone for Lucid. And they just kind of tried to play this like it was a pick comp with Cyclone, which I don't think they should do. I think they should try to anchor themselves towards objectives. Because, I mean, they could still just win by default with this Draven and Kassadin later if they are online. Draven doesn't have a cash-in yet, so we're not going to trust blindly just yet that that's going to happen. But I think D+ should have been able to set up that fight really well, and I think they got a little bit greedy. I think they saw kills in their eyes, they saw dollar signs, they were like, oh, if we get the Roger a bit faster. It is ready now, or at least bought.
It does sort of remind me of how Chovy was playing the Kassadin.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like he's playing like he's level 16 from level 1.
Yeah.
It's a similar vibe. And that is definitely something that, if he does continue to play like that, can lead you to wins, if you keep up that confidence. As now Bro going to be setting up for this Rift Herald. Ivory moves over Poolbay. Not going to be chasing after him just yet. There's Loopy in the brush. We move on over. Raptor comes in, and now we're just
really hard for Loopy to engage here. Doesn't have flash, so needs to be respectful. He's going to waste his stun here. So they're like, he's like, let me touch this Raptor. I need to get my stun back up. Here's a shield. One more, please.
Feels about Nature's Grasp time. There it is. They get the stun. Poolbay gonna have to get out of there as the Grasp is going to land onto the Renekton. He gets polymorphed and destroyed. Enosh going to be able to pick that one up. And D+ Kia, I don't know about this this whole plan this time around, guys.
Yeah, Loopy was waiting for his flash. Like, it was coming up. It just came back up, but I think he was hoping he's going to get his flash back up. Then kind of uses his stun awkwardly here at the beginning of this, and then by the time his flash is back up, which is like right now, like literally at this moment when he gets the stun, the fight's already over. They already lost the Herald. The ult comes through from Maokai, and they're all grasped by nature. And that's essentially the fight. And D+, they still have a lot of win conditions in this late game. Cassidy, like, look, Draven, we can talk about how his scaling works. He does scale well, he's just very low range, so it's difficult to utilize his damage later on. And the item build he's gone for here is going to make him feel a little bit less great about what he does later, but we'll see what he builds completely once that's all done. But, like, it's not done by any means, but this is just uncharacteristically shaky play in the early game here for D+, which I think is what we're plussed by more than anything else. It's not like it's doomed, but we're like, wow, they're not really ahead right now. That's usually where they are.
And this reminds us of the games that they were playing previously that they looked a bit shaky in, right? Where they weren't actually able to get the game to work on, you know, their timing, right? And when things are a little bit off their tempo, it is difficult for DK to know what the right move is. This might be the right move, though, as Frim is just going to start trying to hack down this Kassadin. Lucid takes the long way around. Seems a bit difficult. Bro going to take their opportunity to throw this Herald into the mid lane. Follow going to get stunned up momentarily, but it looks like Shirley should be able to get the work done here on this turret, and the team should at least be able to take down the rest of it. So really nicely done. Zeri continues her reign of terror here over DK.
Yeah, and Breon going to take a third Drake here off of this. This is Soul Point. It's Hextech Soul, which at the beginning we were like, all right, well, you know, we have the Infernal Drake in here. We're not sure how impactful this Soul is going to be, but you know, it felt like chances are pretty good, but we weren't 100% sure. No, it's massive. It is the Drake that you want, and
especially for a Zeri comp, yeah.
Exactly, where Zeri is already kind of outspeeding everybody, and then she's going to have an amazing catch-up onto people too with this slow. And it's interestingly, like, I almost never liked the Andres on Syndra, but given the game state and kind of how much they've slowed this down, I kind of like it in this case here for Ivory, where he can just constantly put that pressure on in the fight and just one big scatter, especially if we go to the late game where he gets his abilities upgraded with all those stacks. Like, it's going to be pretty good, actually, in this game. Starting to feel worried about D+Kia here. No, they're a team that will out-execute, just like their counterpart in the LCK, where it feels like you missed your spikes, you missed your win conditions, doesn't matter. They team fight so well in the late game that it doesn't matter in that context, but let's wait and see how this one pans out.
No, I agree. I think that this is definitely going to the beat of Bro's drum, which is certainly good news for them. We do have 4 stacks on our Rod of Ages here for Pool Bay, though, and so only going to take a matter of time before he gets towards that level 16. It might even be that it ticks him to the level 16, given the fact that these stacks are coming through a little bit later. Might be around that 25-minute mark, something like that, that we do get the Kassadin cash-in moment. That could line up with it quite nicely.
And Breon, like, they've gotten these objectives, but they haven't been able to win clean team fights yet. The only fight they really won was D+'s error. So they still need to prove to us that they can actually win a fight with this composition against the best team in Challengers, right, in D+Kia. So
yep.
It has no legs, looks like.
Yeah,
so, now that we take a really close look, I just don't see. I mean, what? Okay, wait, hold on. What's going on right here, though? I'm pointing at the screen. I'm like touching the monitor.
Like other. He's got like that's his other arms. Like if you think about him, like Aslan from Neverending Story. He's got a big long tail. Yeah.
All right, so those aren't legs.
Sad. But I just want him to have a gigantic body underneath, and for this to be a tiny little neck on the top of an absolutely huge body that he has. Is just going through the bottom of Summoner's Rift. That's what I want, but sometimes we can't have what we want.
They kind of look like legs, though. He has 6 of them.
Kind of looks like legs, as if he was a... Oh, that was a nice sidestep there from Lucid. He's going to press his Warrior Trickster button, get himself out of the way.
That was clean.
That was really clean.
Organ music suddenly. Da-da.
Baron kind of looks like Executor, the Pokemon.
Yeah. Even purple. The variation, was it the Alolan variation that was really tall?
Yeah. The Alolan one, yeah. I like how you say allowing because it sounds like the Alawi variation.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like the allowing version because its Baron does have tentacles.
Yeah. But he looks like a coconut tree for those who aren't familiar.
Surely everyone knows who Executor is, right? I mean, that's base game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original one, yeah. Red Blue. Which did not get announced at Pokemon Presents yesterday for the Game Boy app.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointing, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know if there's anyone from Pokemon Company watching Challengers. They should be, but
yeah,
we were all really excited, you know, to play that together as an LCK team, play the old originals.
Yeah, it would have been good.
But, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait a little bit longer. Sad times.
It's a little bit disappointing. I don't know.
I would have put Executor on my team, actually, after this, if it had been announced.
There we would. Oh, man. I don't know who I would actually have on my team of original Pokemon because I really, like, I didn't resonate that much with the original 150. It was the gold and silver Pokemon that I really, really liked.
What's your favorite gold, silver, like
Ampharos.
Well, sorry, say again?
Ampharos.
Oh, yeah.
I liked him because, you know, he was helpful and did the lighthouse stuff in the story.
I like Spinarak, the spider, because it looks like he has like a smiley face.
Yeah, and then Ariados was like super cool looking.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
And then I found out also like that Ampharos was just not that good, which was sad. Like stats wise, it's just too slow.
But it looks really cool though.
Yeah. And look, he was very good in my game. So I still think he was great.
Well, I wouldn't min-max if we played the originals together again. Like, even if it was Gold and Silver. Just
you barely can, I don't think.
Yeah, I just play the Pokemon I like and try to get, like, a few different types, and I'd battle you guys between games.
Hell yeah, that would be really fun.
Get me a Golem, you know, trade my Graveler, Alakazam, and all that.
I have to remember how stats work in that game. Speaking of stats, let's see who's got the most of them.
All right, this is where
we butt heads 5v5.
Bro need to win a 5v5 fight. Their comp has the setup for the Zeri. Zeri sitting on 2 items now, if I'm not mistaken, so should be able to, Quick Blades are ready. This is the fight that you should be ready to take as Breon to get your Hextech Soul and win the game in sub 25 minutes.
Yep.
If you mess this up, though, D+ are going to be back in the driver's seat, probably win this game. So Lucid on a very long wraparound.
I actually think that it's kind of fine even if Bro don't get this one because they always have the pressure of Soul every time a Drake comes up. They can give up 2 of these, I think, without worrying too much about it. As now Poolbay's coming in. Lucid, not even thinking about the Drake right now as he's going to back away. And the Draven is just dead. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. As Lucid's just going to be fighting Enosh on the backside of this, and Enosh is going to win the 1v1. Now they dive on in. Poolbay does at least get one of them, and now is looking for more, but there's a giant Scion in the way. And Raptor's still alive as well, so they will give up Hextech Soul. This is going to game 3.
You, like, brought on the, like, noir film accent there for the end of that team fight, it felt like. I was enjoying
really?
it. Yeah, it just kind of came out a little bit.
Oh, cool. I
was like, you're like an announcer from the 40s a little bit. Anyway, just to add one point, like as we see here, the observers are highlighting, he did not have 16 in this fight. And the engage here onto Poolbay is brilliant from Bro. Ultimate, not so great here from Enosh, but we'll let it go because the rest of the follow-up here when this team fight is cut in half and they identify, okay, Lucid's on the left side here is beautiful. Poolbay has to leave. So it's basically a 4v3 fight where they're in perfect position and they have the better engage tools with this Maokai. And this is a clean fight, you know, for Breon, right when their win conditions are coming online, right before 16 is hit for Poolbay. If he has 16, I think this fight looks totally different because he goes over the wall and then he comes back and his ult gets empowered, he stacks it up and can do way more damage. But now Breon, Hextech Soul at 25, and I was saying like they need to win this fight because of the 16 thing as well. Like if they don't win this fight, yeah, they're not that worried about the single Drake that D+ gets, but Poolbay has 16 and then they could start making plays around Baron and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know
Now
how...
I just don't think there's a comeback here for D+.
No, and it's in fact even more difficult, right? Because it's 0-1-0 now on Rahel. So he had so many stacks, and he's now lost so many stacks, and this Draven is going to be anemic.
It's basically unplayable.
It's really difficult. Loopy does have Flash. They're going to try and get in here and at least contest this Baron as Lucid. Certainly going to be a target. Does Cyclone as, look at that, Palu! Almost falls down, but doesn't. It is going to be Poolbay that ends up finishing him off, but now he can't go back in. As Thanatos is slice and dicing, running around Rahel, finally gets in here. Can he get a kill, is the question. The answer is no. Baron's going to start hitting him as Poolbay. Okay, never mind. Level 16, it doesn't matter. The Zeri problem is going to come through, and there goes the Draven. Oh man, which champion's more overpowered, I guess, is the question as far as late game team fighting power.
They should, with this shield though, be able to take this Baron, as Enosh can lifesteal off of it a little bit here, and Prim can tank it for forever. It's going to take a really long time, but I don't think there's any contest. I think we have to be a little bit critical of Loopy's Annie play this game. He really has not looked very comfortable on the champion. And okay, well, maybe it's time for him to have the hero story.
Redeemed?
Oh my god.
Drop a bear?
Flash for it. Just flash for it, man.
Oh yeah, he steals it! Okay, that's the win condition, by the way. That was the win condition. It was the, by the way, they don't have a jungler anymore, guys. Ours is gonna respawn win condition.
Tactical int.
This is...
Show up late to surprise them.
Wait, does that mean that now they have Baron in order to get waves in position for Elder?
Look at this fight where Loopy just Qs Prim here. Instead of like trying to, I mean, it's hard to get through this choke point, but he looks really out of sorts in this position. And then Thanatos does enough damage actually with the Baron helping out to where Pulbe is like, all right, maybe I actually kill the Zeri, and this fight is 100% ours. And he cannot quite get on top of Enosh, or he gets on top, but if he has that E a little bit faster, that was nerfed, by the way, great against Zeri, plus Q a lot, you know, maybe he actually gets the kill there. And without Zeri, like, 100% they can't even start the Baron. Then Loopy comes over.
I mean, Enosh was almost dead.
Yeah.
Someone hit was. Oh, he smites it on
that's
73.
Actually so ridiculous.
Yeah. So
that's
now,
a little bit on bro as well.
Yeah. The really sad thing, Wolf, is that even though Bro, they have Hextech Soul, right? And everything's great. They have an incredibly fed Zeri. They weren't that far ahead.
No, they weren't. And also, like, now this Kassadin exists and can kill anyone 1v1. And
yeah.
If he hits more than 2 people, or like if he hits more than 1 person in a team fight, like twice, the fight is over. It doesn't matter what the Draven's 0, 2, and 1. It just doesn't matter at all.
No.
He has Zhonya's too, so he's harder to kill. And has that stasis, so he can hold the aggressive ult stack a little bit longer.
I'd like to see him build like a Frozen Heart or something like that, just because he knows that it's only Enosh that's his problem as Nature's Grasp comes in. Rahel shielded up, and it looks like Bro should be able to grab this turret against the flow of the Baron. Pulbe, though, here towards his top side, looking to try and grab this inner turret where he
has
can.
TP set up here because he's unsealed, but he has the TP ready, so he could just constantly push this and then TP in for what will be the game-deciding fight on Elder here in 75 seconds. It's such an early Elder, especially for challengers.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like kind of weird that we're looking at this 30-minute Elder, but that's the win condition here for D+. They're like, yep, you can have all the Drakes. If you can't team fight win with Hextech Soul, then you don't deserve to be the winners of this series. And they are so close to actually making this happen. Look at the buying here, too, for Rahel. He just got LDR right before the objective.
It's level 18. It's so unfair.
It's so dumb. He's 1,200 gold up on Ivory.
He is. And he is currently 500 gold down on Enosh, which is actually the matchup here in this game. It is Pulbe versus Enosh. Who can win fight better?
Yeah, look at the damage dealt. It really tells that story, doesn't it? The Syndra has actually done a lot, but it's lots of Leandri's damage.
Yeah, the Draven has done next to 0 this game. Really hasn't been the game that Rahel has performed super well in.
No flash for Loopy. Are they just going to give up Prio on this Drake to try to get inhib? This was, I think, a big macro mistake here from Bro. Like, this spawns in 10. This is not spawning in 40. You push this in super hard, but now D+ actually have the full team fight they want.
Yeah, Prim is just going to break a blast cone. I think knew where Lucid was, as the Elder is going to get out of the pit. Of course, we're going to be flipping for this, but we'll see whether team fight can actually come through beforehand, as Pulbe is in the mid lane. They do have to be very careful. Thanatos going to get knocked up. Can't take fully channeled Qs here, as Sion can take anything that you want, as there is the Nature's Grasp. Rahel keeping himself alive for now. Raptor taking a bit of damage, actually, as Pulbe off to the side. Yeah, and without the ult from this Maokai, this regroup from DK is actually very powerful.
Yeah, Pulbe is just looking to make this a 50-50. He wins. The Elder is going to reset.
Look at all those bats. Look at all those bats, Wolf. There's so many bats, man. The skin is so spooky.
Okay. Brion, you have to be super decisive here.
The bats swoop in. They fly away again. Lucid off to the side. They're wanting to keep track of this smite. They can see it now. This control ward is definitely good.
Oh, good replace there from
All
Palu.
right, Tree finds absolutely nothing, though, as Pulbe can just go wherever he wants. Thanatos slices over the wall, and now Ivory able to get 2 of these kills already alongside his Zeri as well, and now can Lucid actually do it? There's the first one for Pulbe. Can he find the next is the question. More Rift Walks, more money. That's the triple so far, but he is going to be taken down. Now it's Thanatos versus Frim for the end of this game. That's crazy, and it's just a Scion. Can he take the battle against the Elder?
The game continues. He absolutely cannot, but I don't like to do this in challengers, especially. I don't like to do it as a caster in general, but the positioning of Zeri in this fight, we have to be a little bit critical. He is chasing this Renekton over the wall into a very fed Caston. Look at this.
Oh, cops a bear as well.
Look at this over the wall, though. Chasing Thanatos here. If he lives longer in this fight, I think Breon absolutely clean up house. Like, no question about it. And I mean, yeah, this is Pulbe playing well, and this is a fed Caston, but it shouldn't have even gotten to this point. Just a very aggressive chase. And Frim just barely will win this a level up. And that means that here we go again. Round 2.
We just get to do it one more time. They're going to start this one up. Pulbe has got Smite.
No flash, though.
As he has an unsealed spellbook, but that means he's not able to actually teleport over here. But I mean, he can do mini teleports wherever he would like. He can now take a base gate if he would like to. And bro, they're interested in a team fight. Lucid and Pulbe together. Hextech bros, and now
pushing.
Here's the engage attempt. They do have the Shirelias as, yeah, once again, the Draven is dead. I don't know how much that matters here. 4D plus Kia, though, as they are going to take down the Crocodile as well. I think 3 versus 5 is probably a little bit beyond what they're capable of.
Tibbers, maybe?
Yeah, Loopy walking across wards, and he'll just die, okay. Does have a shield, he's still dead, never mind. Is Pulbe enough to actually 1v5 or 2v5 if Lucid does survive? But he might be dead too.
Yeah, they just really need to focus this Elder. If Pulbe wants to stack his way in here and look for a smite fight, he's going to be under risk. Like this play, just hold the Elder here.
Yeah, Lucid's still fighting against a couple of people. Ivory going to have to flash away from the Wukong. Now Pulbe looking for more. Enoch is going to do a lot of damage here to Pulbe, who just smites. And the Wukong's dead. This is a disaster.
Yeah,
what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's the game. Doesn't actually get in there for the smite or anything. Is setting his teleport back up because he bought enough time for these respawns to come through so they can, quote-unquote, defend. But they're going to be defending against Hextech, Baron, Elder. Like,
yeah.
This is just like the Nongshim Live Sandbox series. Except that was at like 50 minutes into the game where this was all happening. This is at 35.
Early.
But you can't lose this game as Breon now. Like, if you lose this game, I mean, 19-8.
Look at how much health Frim has.
He is not going to.
Is that over 6,000 health?
Yeah. And he also has anathemas.
Yeah.
He has 5940, 5956 with some of those extra minions going down. He's going to be at 6,000 very soon. And the game has gone so long that he's just getting tankier and tankier.
Why has Scion done more damage than Renekton?
Honestly, probably because of his AoE burn.
Yeah, people are just getting Sunfire caved to death.
Who is he anathemizing? I guess
Pulbe.
Probably Pulbe, right? Like,
yep.
Rahel does nothing in this game.
You just build armor and anathemas the Cassidon, and you're probably fine.
I just assumed so, but when they were showing it, I was like, is it something weird where we should be sad? No, he's doing the right thing.
Well, let's...
Hextech, pretty busted.
They're going to try and defend. Look at how much... There's too much health! What the heck? It looks like the old health bar that, that Herald used to have. Oh man, it's really silly. It's too much health.
He just walks at them and doesn't care.
Rahel is just going to burn down to these Drakes. Yeah, that is a very comfortable 2 kills. Luffy's going to die next. Lucid going to dive into a backline and then melt. Pulbe is, you know, he used to be able to get a couple of kills before he died. This time, he's just going to die. And bro, They're going to be able to get the upset win here against D+ Kia.
Another bro upset game win here. Can they turn it into their second series of the season, Atlas?
Yeah, can we see a few extra Giga Chads in the chat?
Yeah, I think it's time for some bro levers to come out.
Yeah. Man, I thought that this was going to be a 2-0 and done, but I now think that it's the reverse sweep and done. How do you emotionally recover from that kind of bro domination?
Who are you voting for in this one? Because it's a really tough one for me, I'm going to be honest.
Frim. No.
Frim?
No. Zeri. No.
Because, like, Zeri had some questionable moments. I think I'm going to vote for bot just because...
Nah, give me a jungle.
Okay.
I want to vote for the tree. I think
I
the
voted for bot
because,
like, yeah, that one moment was actually really egregious on the first Elder fight, but, like, besides that, his positioning was pretty good, and the Zeri win condition was the only thing that was going to be how they carried this lead into the late game, and he played well enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, like, it was an inspiring game of Zeri, but for me, I would say he was POG.
Yeah, I think the Scion also had too much health this game to be actually counted as a champion. He's actually like a boss or a neutral objective in this game. Actually a two-phase boss fight as well, because you fight him and then you fight like his Berserk mode, which is pretty cool. Thankfully, that one is just on a time limit, so you
Imagine
just have
if
to
they
survive.
had a Renata too.
Oh man,
He was like able to get
too much.
Four life bars.
Mm-hmm.
This game, overall for D+ was pretty uncharacteristically weak in the early game. I thought they played around objectives very poorly and were happy gaming a little bit. And then also, Loopy's Annie was just not it. Like, he was not hitting the stun targets. He wasn't flashing on anybody. He like was sadly stunning Scion with Qs, which again sometimes wasn't his fault, but other times his positioning could have been more aggressive, I thought.
Yeah, I also thought that Rahel had a bit of a stinker.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious with 8k damage done in a 36-minute game. Was always out of position. Didn't have boots, I think, for the last fight because he wanted 3 items. It was a very strange state of affairs. This game was mainly all about pool bay. And I felt like the mid-game there was that angle. And DK just kind of were a little bit, not good.
They didn't win lane either on the bottom side. Like, they did kind of, but it wasn't amazing, as Enosh will pick this up. I want to say unsurprising, but, like...
I mean, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, right? But look
his
at
early gameplay was very good.
Breon fans, bro levers, look at that KDA and make a wish, okay?
Yeah. Do
Maybe.
you guys like palindromes?
Yeah.
Eh?
Even the slashes between his kills, his deaths, and his assists.
Yeah, right.
Feel related.
Palindromatic.
Yeah.
We needed to have a backslash in one of them and then a front slash in the other one so that it actually works as a palindrome. Sometimes you can't have everything that you want though, so it's fine. Plus 1 isn't necessarily symmetrical. But I digress. It was a great performance from Enosh this game. I felt like the setup from the rest of his team was absolutely fantastic though, and getting a Zeri to a position where she can win a POG I think is a team effort. And I think so much of it came from the top side of the map in the jungle. It really was a great turnaround performance here from the two of them.
Yeah, I feel like the advantages that were shut down, the advantages D+ tried to get, they shouldn't have played as aggressively, but how well Breon handled the pressure in this game was what I really champion more than anything else. Like, this is a team that often does break down and often does struggle through the mid game, and they knew exactly what to shut down and how not to lose. And I feel like they didn't lose harder than they won, if that makes sense. But like in this game, that's how you do it, you know?
Yeah, they did very well. Nicodemus says Scion robbed like Shannon Knoll. Shannon Knoll was not robbed.
Well, I mean, maybe at some point.
Because he told us that he still has his car, his big black shiny car. And baby, tonight we can go for a ride. He told me that, so he wasn't robbed. He still has it. And he came second place because he didn't get as many votes as Guy Sebastian, the better singer. So, you know, that's just how it goes. Sorry, mate. But we are going to go to a short break when we get back. Game number 2. Welcome back, everyone, to LCK Challenger 2023 Spring. I'm Atlas. I'm joined by Wolf as we bring you the final game of the evening. Gonna see whether Bro can keep the memento, know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it says our jungler Lucid is planning on carrying today, or is expected to carry today. And,
that is true. He is expected
He was expected to, but last game he tried.
Sometimes your bottom lane is somewhat hefty, and it is difficult to have it on your back when you're just a little monkey, you know?
Yeah, especially when you're, like, part of your monkey soul is, like, ripped away from you constantly. You know, you're not as sturdy.
Yeah, sturdiness does leave when you lose your soul, I think. I think that's actually how it goes.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Thanks for backing me up, Atlas.
Yeah, no, I got you. I understand. Like, I get a bit flimsy when I'm soulless. And that, I don't know whether I have a soul. Has anyone scientifically proven souls exist?
No.
No.
Did anyone scientifically prove Draven's existence in game 2?
I do have at least 2 souls, though. Because I am wearing shoes.
My shoes are a little bit squeaky today. They've been making like
bit squeaky
noises while we're going to draft and stuff.
I think your soul really wants to shine through, and so they're just yelling at you or something like that.
Kind of squeaky. I don't know what's going on down there.
Soul means brain in Greek. Well, I definitely don't have a soul then. Got that one nailed. Got a Dark Soul. Do you have 3 Dark Souls? Because apparently there's, how many? 4? How many are there? How many Dark Souls are there?
Is Elden Ring a Dark Soul game?
Ooh, that's true. Is the Demon Souls a Dark Soul? Yeah. It's all from Software. I guess kind of is. So it's 3 + 1 DLC. Okay, there we go.
They picked blue side, Atlas.
They did.
And I don't like this. I would have liked them to keep the counter picks for the soul laners, because Frim and Ivory seem to be weak links for Brion, whereas D+ are trying to now draft around bottom side, where they haven't looked as good. We'll see if they can make it happen. I'm not saying it's impossible.
No.
I'm just saying I don't think they're playing to their strengths here. Let's see what they get. Let's see what they get.
They ban Annie again, which seemed to be a good idea based on the fact that they picked Annie in the last game, and it didn't look super good. So now getting things back over to their side. Zeri actually going to be banned here. They don't want Enosh on that champion ever again. He's going to have to try something new as we hop into the Rift for this next game. Does mean that something's going to come through, because the Ashe needs to be banned, and now theoretically Maokai, Varus, those sorts of things. I think Varus is probably going to get snapped up. It does make sense.
Yep. Heimerdinger's banned. I think it's going to be the lethal tempo Varus on hit.
Yep.
And let's see what the answer is going to be here, because this could be a weird game with the Zeri ban where we see like Aphelios. Oh, no, we'll just...
Ooh. That's a choice that you can make.
I was going to say, you could actually prioritize something more interesting here than, like, we could have an Aphelios game, but...
Lucid likes Wukong, though, so he's going to go back to that one. There's the Lucian Nami to come through here. So, Lucian Nami into Varus Nautilus. I kind of don't like this for DK that much. Just because Nami's disengage is so good.
It really is. And also, like, it's not going to be very easy to aggressively play Nautilus. You're just kind of opting into losing lane and hoping you're going to outscale later. And you might. Depends on how the rest of this draft goes, but it's really easy for Brion to limit your range, which we see this all the time with the Varus early picks here on blue side. The Jace ban comes through in second phase. Are they trying to bait the Gnar again to do the Camille topside play? I would not be surprised. A little bit tougher to pull off with Wukong.
Yeah. Thanatos probably not keen to play the Renekton this time around either, because he kind of looked a bit weird on it in their last game. I think Frim played a fantastic Scion.
Yeah.
But it was also Thanatos as well, not having the greatest of performances.
Yeah, certainly not. Well, the Gnar is banned by Brion, so they're like, oh, maybe they're thinking about picking up the Gnar. It does suit D+'s comp better, the Sylas ban.
Yep, and also wanting that R4 Renekton by the looks of things.
Yeah, they could ban it here or ban the Azir, but they will ban the Taliyah. This is, again, like a champion pool thing for Ivory. He likes his Taliyah, he likes his Syndra.
Yeah, there's that R4 Renekton that we were talking about. And so now, what does D+ Kia do? What are they bringing us in their solo lane positions, Wolf?
I'd say there's a pretty good chance we see something a little bit off the rails here. I don't think we're going to see Camille. I was thinking, well, I'd love to see the Yorick, but I was thinking we'd see something like Jax maybe into this Renekton and try to play around that top side and say, I'm going to play this matchup out and just try to win it because I'm the better player. But instead, it's just going to be a scaling Ornn composition here. If you're going to play this way, why first pick the Varus, though? I mean, I'm not saying that Varus can't scale, but...
Scale's better on hit.
Oh, no doubt, you know. They could have like drafted a Lee Sin earlier and then gone for like an Aphelios pick or something like that if this was going to be the end result. Feels like a very flex draft. Blind Lissandra.
Well, does give them one hell of a team fight. Like, what there is, like, the bouncy castle is absolutely stupid with the fact that you now have people in frozen tombs. It's so difficult to kill Lissandra. Wow. I kind of love it. I actually think that, like, Lissandra's been creeping up recently. We saw it come through from Kwandong, I believe, last week.
Bulldog playing it against Showmaker's Akali.
Yeah.
A little bit tougher to pull this one off blind, and maybe they didn't want the Akali to come through. They were worried about the Akali circumventing their front line and getting into the back line and threatening Rahel, but the Azir can be picked into this, and this matchup definitely can go both ways. With Azir's nerfs to his early game, I think Lissandra should be fine here. The team fight that D+ has is amazing, but isn't really going to come online until we get to like the second Herald or so, where you're really looking to fight. Ornn early can be quite strong. Lissandra early can be strong if you can catch the right people. It's the Lucian, the Renekton, and the Lee Sin that I'm worried about more than anything else for Brionne. So if the early lane goes well for Inosh and then he's able to go to these objectives and make an impact there, then D+'s comp needs to play way more passively than they did in Game 2, where they absolutely were not online, but they were fighting anyways. That's my worry.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about that as well. I think that now, like, Poolbay can play aggressively early. I think that, like, once he has ult, like, his ability to claw around and get these Ring of Frost down to set up for Lucid's engage and things like that, I think Rahel will have a lot of value in those moments also, if he can line up these chains of corruption. And I think that DK, I like this composition more if they want to fight around, you know, mid-game rather than just aiming for the late portion.
They're level 6. Like, all of their 6s here are really good if played well together. And I think it's their comp is harder to team fight with than Bros is, where they can just kind of Lee Sin kick, press R on Renekton, and run at people. I have Emperor's Divide. But when we go to, like, first Herald fight, if D+ Kia play it right and they're coordinated, they can actually smash that fight and win it super hard, even without Varus. You know, if Varus just stays bottom and pushes plates, like, that's okay. Even 4v5, I think that D+ can win that fight if they do it well. And execution has always been one of their greatest strengths, plus their macro, right? Their drafting, generally also amazing. In this game, I don't think it's bad per se, but it's definitely not the direction I would have gone. Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, I like the Lissandra last pick for the comp, right? It does mean that Ivory's pretty happy to pick up the Azir, and Lissandra does have some more difficult matchups, but I don't think it is the Azir. I think you're actually kind of fine there. You can avoid scoops with your ultimate, things like that. And your ability to set up is just insane. So Poolbay can just play as the engage, right? He can be the button pusher, and I think that suits his playstyle a lot. Like, this come in and clean up isn't necessarily him when he does seem to be the one pulling the trigger the majority of the time.
Yeah, that's actually a really astute point, because I think he has looked his best when it's like his game and he's like, this is my fight and I decide this. Not unlike Showmaker, I think, at certain points of his career, but I think Showmaker definitely much more versatile nowadays, as I hope we don't have a problem, but okay. All I had to do was hope.
Yeah, and now we're just going to do the dancing around music for a bit as we get into this one. Oh, now we've got the serious music, and soon we're going to break it down. And I didn't think we'd get another do-do-do opportunity.
I didn't think so.
But we are going to have one. Hopefully we get a sneaky original do at the beginning, like we were gifted with in our second game of the day.
Did you notice that Chronicler and Chronicler Fanboy keep showing up at the same time? Coincidence?
Ooh,
I think not.
Let's get onto the rift. Oh, we got two!
We got two!
We got two!
We doubled it, the dues!
Oh, it's the double. We actually got Doodoo. Someone call him. Someone call Doodoo. Oh, that was incredible. Absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that you guys were here for this, to share this moment with us as we get to Doodoo. Doo. Good times. Anyway, if anyone's got Kwandong's number, give him a call. We need to let him know. Anyway, Thanatos, ready to forge some things.
Yeah.
The rest of DK wandering around the jungle because they have Nautilus.
They do. He is very strong. It's also my favorite Nautilus skin.
Yeah, you like that one, the construction Nautilus? I always think of it as the gorilla Nautilus because it's the one he used every time.
I always think of it as like Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist. You know, like he's got like the red eyes. Not that Alphonse has red eyes, but you know, it's like he's like a soul in a suit of armor kind of thing. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But I could see what you mean.
I'll pretend that I know. I do know.
Oh,
I watched the first episode.
Wait, what? You haven't watched FMA? Like, hold on, this is real?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
I mean, I respect everybody's choices in media and stuff, but I recommend watching it. It holds up. You know, it's not like one of those animes where you're like, okay, this is kind of cringe now that I'm an adult. No, it's a good one.
All right.
Also,
I have to give it a try.
Everyone's gonna be like, only watch Brotherhood. Actually, I personally prefer the original one. I know it's sacrilegious to say, but I think they're both amazing.
But that's your thing, Wolf. You're the original one guy.
Yeah,
you like the original one of almost everything ever.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. I'm like, I hate change, and I don't like the new things, and I liked it better when they were older.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we could go back to when TVs didn't have color. And
why do we have to have color on our TVs? It's so frustrating. I want to see the gradient between the lights. No, it's not quite that bad. But I think you do just have, like, nostalgia is powerful within you, Wolf.
I am about that. And the cool thing for me about the original one was it didn't follow the manga, which meant it was kind of its own original story. So that's... People are like, it didn't follow the manga, so it's therefore worse. I'm like, no, it didn't follow the manga, so it's different. And so I like that. It's kind of...
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's its own different take on the story at a branching path.
Well, DK looking once again for another option as Raptor is just here. The Shadow, another hook is going to connect, and there is the Lee Sin. I believe they just got vision of him. He's going to have to flash. So Loopy has to give that one up, but at least he's going to live for now as Ivory giving back exactly what he's getting here and a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought maybe because there's no Wukong showing bottom, like I thought Pulbe was trying to get a flash there because he's like, Lucid could be here, you don't know. Yeah. But he kind of does know. He has a ward there over the wall, and he's not gonna flash there. In fact, trades back really nicely. So Pulbe just kind of watching the trade a little bit. I mean, not that it's going to affect him too much. He still has control of this lane, but
yeah, no,
it looked less cool because his health went down more. But it's actually fine.
And now he's going to go for a back. Ivory going to be a little bit later on his, but I think both of them are going to be absolutely fine. Looking for level 6s for both of these mid laners, most likely. Before we start to see too much action from junglers.
Across the entire 10 champions is actually so strong. Like, these are kind of like nothing champions until level 6 across the board. I'd say Lee Sin is probably the one that's happiest pre-6 in terms of like setting up skirmishes. And Lucian, to a lesser extent.
What? How did he pick that?
Hook?
That was insanity. Okay. Sure, Loopy. Loopy got some feedback after the last game. They're like, pick up your performance. He's like, all right, well, what about if I edit the hitbox of the dredge line?
I feel like Kevin Kim is going to be like, actually, most people don't know this, but Loopy had a career as a seamstress before this. That's how he threads those needles.
Well,
the Kevin Kim lore. Kevin Kim's going to be like, yeah, he's known for this.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing that. What's up, Kevin? I hope you're in the chat.
Brim is in a bit of trouble here as Raptor is going to find Thanatos. Thanatos gets out just fine, and no one flashed. It's just okay, I guess. Brim took a lot of damage, though. Damn.
Well, still a 0-0 scoreline with a lot of action. Lots of hooking. Prim does have TP. He's going to be fine. Thanatos is going to push this and then TP as well. As the first Drake will go over to D plus Kia here with the Nautilus lane getting some nice advantages. We very rarely see the Nautilus actually find this level of success in the lane, but he went Hail of Blades, Rahel did, so we were actually a little bit off on our expectations for how this is going to play out. He's got a Dirk now.
Yeah.
And they tried to play this like a kill lane, which we've seen in the LEC, I feel like, but never really in the LCK, and I couldn't tell you guys about LPL because it's on the same time as our show, and we have no time to watch that, but interesting setup. Gives them that early Drake, and now level 6 starting to come online here. Pulbe has his, Lucy's going to have his fairly soon. And if D+ get this first Herald as well with this Ornn ultimate, they're kind of having smooth sailing.
Yeah, and I think that like the power of Call of the Forge God and Frozen Tomb should be able to get them a decent amount of priority like you're talking about. So pretty comfortable assumption that they should be in pretty good position to try and fight for it, because of course it's a fight. It's not like, you know, we can identify that D+ Kia has more power at that stage of the game and therefore Bro will give it up. No. It's going to be a battle.
It is going to be a fight.
D+ Kia should be able to win. We'll see how many of the Bro players are going to die.
Well, Bro also, like, they're playing a comp that really needs that Herald too, and their team fighting at level 6 is also amazing. So I think it's about execution, and whenever I say it's about execution as a caster, I really hate myself because it sounds like such a cop-out thing to say, but it is going to be about like the skill of the players in this fight, which will probably be a 3v3 or a 4v4. And I think that D+ Kia have the harder comp to play out, like in terms of its subtleties, but I think it is the stronger one if played well, like we were saying in the draft.
I mean, it is a little bit press R buttons on top of each other, which is good, but I think there are a lot of intricacies as far as like making sure all of them work.
Yeah. Timing and angling and stuff like that.
Yeah. Frim needs to also make sure that he keeps as much pressure on Thanatos as possible, because if he can just casually move towards that that Herald, it's going to be difficult. But Lucid is moving bot lane.
Lucid's going bot right now, and he can, of course, try to full clear on his way up with the spawn of the red buff down there. It's just spawning, so he knows the timing extremely well in this, you know, but this does offer a little bit of extra time, and his level 6 here with Raptor hitting his as well pretty soon. In fact, probably off this blue buff. It's going to be pretty interesting. I say that, but he doesn't get it off blue buff because he's significantly behind in farm. Here comes an engage.
Well, there's the flash. They managed to just guarantee it. Bubble is going to be flashed as Polu going down extraordinarily low. There's the piercing arrow, and first blood goes to Rahel. Epoch going to flash the hail of arrows, but it doesn't matter. It's still a double kill, and who cares about the Herald if you just murder the bottom lane?
Yeah, now this is a really awkward time here for Brion because they're going to have to catch this wave with Enosh, who has no summoners here, so he has to rush down bottom, and you should know, as D+, like, there's no way they could actually do this Herald, right? We can head straight over there, and if Enosh goes to the fight without summoners, we smash him. If he goes bottom side, he's already losing farm now, like, he has to go there. All they have to do is buy time here.
Yeah.
And that they should.
Yeah, Pulbe going to move in here as there's the Cyclone. Frozen Tomb is going to lock down the first kill onto the jungler as well. It's going to make Shelly far more difficult to take down. They trade 1 for 1. But DK retains some semblance of control. We won't have this dominance for much longer as Loopy, he gets in here. Put up a little bit of a rock as Thanatos hanging out over in the area.
They need Rahel over here to win this fight, I think. He is heading over right now, and this is identified by Enosh. She's like, he's not down here. He's probably question mark pinging this and told his team vocally, like, the Varus is coming, so you guys either need to win this fast or get out.
Well, Thanatos is going to dive forward. Polo's going to get knocked up with the depth charge. Piercing arrow comes on through as well. It's going to be the first kill, a third one for Rahel. As Lucid going to collect the eye, and now we'll have to check in on how many of these plates Enosh has been able to pick up. One so far. Might be able to get the couple, which means that Bro didn't really need to contest there to get value.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And the money that DK pick up in this fight is negligible. They get the Herald Gold. It's really about the double kill for the Varus in the bot lane, because that makes everything feel okay. As Pulbe here takes a ton of damage and is killed by the Emperor's Divide. He waits a little bit longer there, the engage isn't as good, so gets caught with his pants down a little bit there trying to force that. And then they buy enough time here for Varus to come over, and this is when Brion just can no longer be here. They don't have Dominus. And watch like the turn when the Varus appears, they're like, oh, this is This is kind of disastrous. Bubble also desperate, but unsuccessful. So another kill picked up here for Rahel after getting that double on the bottom lane. He is a Varus with lethality items who is headed to the moon, basically.
Oh, yeah. He's got a Ghost Blade and a Dream right now. Currently close to 1,000 gold in the lead. And yes, a couple of plates went down on the bottom side of the map in favor of Enosh, but now Rahel's able to collect one, and Chains of Corruption somehow connect onto Nami as well, which is kind of cute. Thanatos trying to fight up against Frim here. Discovered that Thanatos is actually a persona as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've always thought that it was just a Lost Ark boss. It's also a persona, and probably also something else. I think it's like it's a mythology thing as well. Thanatos is just a cool name though.
It's a good name.
Yeah. I sidetracked myself with that one, but
no, it's okay. No,
I think the action's relatively over.
Well, you say that. Loopy is... He was a dredge line away from saying otherwise.
Indeed. And there was a dragon that was upset. Now he's going to go back to sleep.
If they double stack dragons after all the advantages they picked up in this game already, this game is on its way to being quickly as one-sided as the first one.
Did you know that the Greeks copied both Lost Ark and Persona?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
They stole their Greek god of death from,
they didn't even give
from
credit.
Lost Ark and Persona. It's like really weird.
They didn't even give credit.
I don't know why they do that. Anyway, there's a wave. Doesn't really do too much. That flash kick was absolutely awesome onto Rahel. Is it going to be enough to win them the fight, though, is the question, because the Azir has already gone down. There's Frim as well. It's a double for Lucid. And although Raptor looked so cool at the beginning, it didn't do enough to actually win them the fight, because mid-game for DK is so strong.
Mid-game is so strong, and they have so much CC that even though the pick and the setup was amazing, onto Rahel, it doesn't matter because they have great turn with the Wukong ultimate. Like the Cyclone comes out and they're like, oh, you guys all just funneled in when you got that setup there onto Rahel. So Cyclone gets massive value. Also, the dodge on Palu's tidal wave from everybody was actually so clean. As Palu tries to start this off, and look at this, everybody's like, nah. And the Raptor actually sees an angle here, taxis with Loopy to get on top of Rahel. The follow-up bubble is amazing. But look at the Cyclone here. And everybody's stacked up.
Ornhorn.
Yeah, Ornhorn too.
Just really sick play.
You have such great CC when everybody funnels into one location. The wombo combos are real. That's what we've been talking about with this comp so much. The follow-up here, amazing on the Palu.
And you've been talking about choke points and choke control and stuff like that throughout this as well. And like, Lissandra is the queen of that.
Yeah.
And I think Ornn is the king. So it's just one of the... and
like, Wukong's like
son.
the Jack.
Yeah. He's having a very good time in those circumstances. And bro, while they can certainly fight if that happens, we've seen their composition over and over again, right? Maybe minus the Lee Sin recently in these styles of comps, but it's just so hard to fight DK, especially right now. Like, you get one item, and you're really sitting pretty for at least 10 to 15. Is what it feels like to me.
Yeah. It is the situation now for Brion where winning team fights is so hard as these further item comes through for the Varus in particular, because his poke is so crazy good.
And is he going to be okay is the question, guys, as that tidal wave doesn't do so much. And Cyclone, circle, arrow, and that's the end.
Yeah, this game is over. Rahel is on 5 kills now after that double with 1 arrow. And this is what I'm talking about. The more the Varus gets ahead, the more follow-up you have for these engages, which is basically free. You can't miss arrows when everybody is in the bouncy castle.
Yeah.
And when you are setting up for those fights, where you're setting up for those engages, the Varus poke versus Lucian poke is not even a discussion. Like, you can't even have a conversation about which one is going to be more relevant, because it's always going to be Varus. So in the neutral, you have so much less time as Brion is. This is just a somewhat sad attempt to clear the wave here with the culling. And
there's just too many bounce as well. Like, Loopy hits everyone with the depth charge while they're all still in the air from the Cyclone. Like, as soon as anyone hits anything and something happens and someone CC'd, everyone just gets CC'd for the next 10 seconds.
Like, this draft, now that we're looking at it, You remember when I was like, yeah, the Salties have you to execute this. If you get ahead, you just kind of walk at them and press R, and the R's lead into the other R's.
But the initial fight that we were discussing before, around the first Herald, that was going to be skill-based.
That one was skill-based, sure.
And from now on, it's just press R, and hopefully everyone else does the same thing. And it's Prowler's Varus as well, so Rahel's feeling it. Claw
Look
comes
at the
in.
damage!
Enosh, I mean, he's not going to get ulted. I don't think... Did Pulbe not quite have it off cooldown?
Yeah, it just
came off.
Just came up.
I was like, if it's Pulbe, right? So he's obviously going to press the button if he has access to it. Enosh does have cleanse, but it's on cooldown for the next little while. Oh, that was close. Dreadline not going to quite connect. There's the kickback as he's straight into a bubble. So perma CC. They do manage to take down the jungler though, and I think Lucid's actually the damage carry, guys. I think you're focusing on killing this Lissandra, but the Wukong just tears him to shreds.
This draft feels like just a playground for D+, and obviously when you get the lead that they had with those 2 kills early for Rahel, which he did essentially all on his own. This was not a gank from Lucid, even though he was on the bottom side of the map. When you get those kills and you kind of give yourself this lead and then push it into all parts of the map, like he pushed up to that first Herald fight, was one turn it, he's doing insane amounts of damage in these exchanges. You feel pretty good about your performance in this game compared to the last, right, where he kind of did nothing on the Draven. This is a great redemption game, it's just a quadruple knockoff plus Luffy's ultimate plus Wukong. Like, this is just a game where you just don't get to do anything. If you're Brion.
Yeah. And Rahel did a lot of damage in that fight. You didn't really get to see it all that much. She prowled on someone at the beginning though, because that's definitely what you really want to do. That indicates that you're in a great position if you actually get to use the active of your Prowler's Claw without dying in a team fight. He absolutely did manage to pass that step.
Loopy's not also just pretty sick. I mean, it's easy to play at this stage, but I thought the way that he played the laning phase was really
They
cool.
double killed them. After being a liability in the second game, I'm right there with you, man. I think that he's been fantastic.
It's a redemption game, you know, you really...
Loop-dention?
Yeah!
Yeah.
You walk out of this game off of the stage, the coach comes to talk to you afterwards about game 2, you're like, but what about game 3, coach? I mean, come on. Come on, you know? And the coach has to be like, we will talk about game 2 later, but let's go get dinner first. You know?
Yeah. Okay, Ivory is possibly going to die. Ring of Frost comes in. He goes golden. Does he have the Q back? Oh, the flash is going to be there. And that means that Ivory's going to die. That was pretty sick.
That was sick.
Pulbe, I think, like, Ivory knew that he had the flash, right?
Yeah, well, also he could have self-ulted. He decided not to. Here we go.
Yeah, Lucy's no turret. Get pushed into 2, and there is the triple cyclone. He's doing this basically by himself right now. As the Horn comes down, he's basically unneeded. Lucid gives him the thumbs up as he just gets a couple of Triumph procs and he'll be
This is disgusting.
They're going to end with Herald.
They're going to end with Herald.
Dancing Herald?
Dancing Herald. It is happening. It is happening, Atlas. It is
going to happen. Oh my god, it better.
Finish it.
Yes, good. Keeps the health bar, Okay,
all right, keep those minions alive.
Kill Ivory. You have to kill them all as they spawn. Keep her alive. Shirley will survive. No! Prim, how dare you! You had one way of allowing this ending to be positive. It is just so sad. As Rahel, he's able to keep himself out of position here. And that's a very dead Renekton. My god, they are so fed.
What an anticlimactic end to this game with no Dancing Herald.
Yeah, where's Shirley, man?
What a buzzkill for him, seriously.
Yeah. Well, there's a Frozen Tomb. It's a really deadly Sin. Enosh is also dead as well. It's the most damage I've seen a Ring of Frost do as they take down the Nexus. And D+ Kia, they will win this series. And it looked like they were a bit upset about how game number 2 went.
It's like 1905, the timer when the Nexus cracks there. That was a...
I think that was the shortest game of the season, right?
This is the shortest game I've cast, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have a stat for that on these papers. We probably do. We have a lot of stats today, so I'd have to like flip through.
Do you know what's crazy? D+ Kia's games on average go for longer than Brion games.
Yeah. It's like a 32 or something like that.
Yeah,
average.
It's like 33 compared to 31. It's actually a decent, like, for an average, right, after this many games, that's actually kind of a big deal. But I think that might have been
I asked for confirmation, so we'll see.
Yundo's in the chat. He might let us know.
Yeah, 1910 is the game time. I think the Nexus actually fell faster than that, but it takes the including the animation. ticks up to 19-10, and in a 19-minute game, he is 19,424. So in the shortest game, he has over 1,000 DPM. That is,
Yeah.
that is like unheard of, actually.
That's actually pretty insane.
We're like, yeah, Rahel, he's definitely not a strong point for this team. You know, he's pretty all right, but like, we gotta talk about the jungle. We gotta talk about the mid lane.
He had like probably like the weakest Draven performance that we've seen for a really long time, and then comes out with this.
Yeah, he's certainly snowballed. Oh, well, they asked me who I voted for. I'm like, well, I mean,
I'm gonna do Lucid, please.
You're a Lucid voter?
I'm a Lucid guy. Or Loopy, Lucid, Loopy.
Okay.
Loopy.
I just thought it was silly to ask us at this point.
Yeah.
I thought it was an easy 80 carry vote. I voted
Oh,
80
really?
carry.
Boom Boom. I think
I
that
boom
Loopy's
boomed
so good.
so hard.
I mean,
this
he
one.
also boom boomed so hard, so I think it's completely fine. I'm a Nautilus believer.
1910 would be right,
Wait.
but I don't know if that means fastest game.
On casually doing, it is 750 DPM. That is what?
I mean, he did most of it with his ultimates and with Bellows Breath in crazy wombo fights.
That is actually crazy, though. Like, that's a lot of on damage.
Yeah, I mean, he did some of it in lane too, but like, this is the game where somebody's like, oh yeah, is that D+ Kia Challengers team? I heard they're okay. Like, what, should I watch
This is
any
one of the
VODs?
ones
This
that
is
you
a
give
VOD.
them,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is the VOD you send.
Was it the first game of the season that was DK Bro, the first one, where they got the Elise and just absolutely
Yes, I think
eviscerated
it was
them?
Bro, wasn't it?
I think this might be the rematch after that series where, well, now Bro have actually improved a bit, right? As Rahel is going to collect it. Loopy robbed, in my opinion, but I think that this guy's bounce back from that Draven performance to this Varus performance, absolutely incredible.
Just insanity. And like, Loopy set him up. He took that damage, though, and he shot arrows into CC. I mean, that's why it's a boom boom vote, because a lot of the damage he did was because the rest of his team pressed R, and then he was like, I will press Q on top of that.
Yeah, and
I'm
you
gonna
can do
press
all
W
the
first.
engaging
Watch
you
me
want.
do it.
If he misses his arrows, they don't kill the targets that they're looking for, right? And 1,013 DPM. In a 19-minute game,
That
ain't
is
too bad.
crazy. Like, that is so insane.
Because the earlier a game ends as well, the more difficult it is to have high DPM numbers.
You have
Because
less-
A, you're doing less damage, and B, 5 minutes of that game is spent like walking to the lane.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. You spend 5 minutes of the game walking the lane. You have less items just by default. Like, he got gold so quickly. He had 13 kills that game. Like, 13 kills.
It's crazy. And he's also only 72% kill participation.
This
That's
was
pretty
a
crazy.
pro game, right? And then and if you're like, oh well, I mean, like the other team is just like nowhere near the level. They won game 2. Like, Breon won game 2, just for context. Okay.
And I'm going to go and just check to I'll go double check to see whether their first game was actually
I'll also
that
see
Bro
if I
game.
can
It was. It was the 2-0 over Bro.
Okay.
And so that first one, how long was it? Yeah, it was. They won in 24 minutes, then they won in 27 minutes in the first series.
Yundo says he thinks it's the fastest game, but he doesn't have hard confirmation.
Well, it's probably this team that would have been the ones that would do any faster games, right? And their fastest was 24 prior to this. So,
Well, I mean, you say that, but you did say they had a long
that's true.
average
They had a
game
bit of
time.
They do, and they also had a bit of a slump.
Yeah, I see like 37 minutes, 41 minutes in there. That's probably what's pulling their game time up
Yeah.
so high.
And they're the more recent games as well. It's been a little bit of a slump here for D+ Gear. Hopefully this gets them back on track, because especially that last game, like, man, that was pretty decisive. And they definitely found what was missing.
Fish Drowner TV, that's a great ID. I don't know the names of the skins. Atlas does sometimes.
Which one?
The skin with the big anchor.
What is the skin with the big anchor? I mean, it's Nautilus, so it's his
Yeah, but I
base
think
skin. They all have big
But I
anchors.
think one of them looks like really like a cartoonishly large like anchor, like a ship would have.
Oh, is that one of the new ones? Because I'm not as good at the new ones. Astronaut has a big one, but I don't. Oh, is it the? If it's the Abyssal one, then that's just like the tentacles one, the one that's like sort of base. But I don't think it has that big of an anchor. I think there's a new one that has like a huge anchor.
I only played the one that they played, that Loopy played in that game, so I don't know what the other ones look like anymore. I just only play that one. That's all I do. There's one that looks like the looks a little bit more like the Big Daddy. That one's kind of cool. The like more brown, darker one.
Yeah. Nico, yeah, mate, you can borrow Maloma, of course. Yeah, just pop down. Just make sure you have it back by the time I get home, and you're good. All right.
It's a pretty late time to be doing the mowing.
Mowing the lawn? Yeah, I know. But look, man's got to do it.
If he's got big spotlights outside, as long as he's doing it safely.
The missus could have been working late, and he promised at like midday, and like he's like, oh crap, got him. Yeah,
sick ass, you're a legend.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries, mate. Got to help out another man in need.
I played the first BioShock, and at the time, it like blew my mind.
God, that game was so good.
I was like, when I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, oh, this trailer is so sick. And then I played it, and I was like, it is as good as the trailer said it was gonna be.
Yeah. And like the amount of immersion in that game as well, because we both of us actually, we came from like Metroid Prime and first person like exploration type games, and I think BioShock took that and ran with it in like a different genre in like the most beautiful way, like similar sort of storytelling, sort of let you do your own thing whilst also slightly pushing you in a direction as well. I think it was really cool.
That was the first PC, like when I played BioShock, that was the first PC I had that had a graphics card and not just like onboard graphics.
Me too, dude. Yeah.
So it was like the first time where like my eyes were open to all of the video games that exist. And then BioShock was on sale for like $20 or something, and everyone was like, "You have to buy this game." And I was like, "All right, I'll buy it instantly." I was poor; I had like no money, but I was like, I mean, everyone says it's good. I remember looking up the trailer, being like, "Let's see," and the trailer looked really cool. Jump into the game, like when you're in the water at the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the swim bit.
Like this. BioShock was sick. I kind of want to go back and play it now.
Yeah, I was hooked when you're like on the elevator down to Rapture or whatever, and the whale swims past. I'm like, oh, this got a whale. Yeah. I was so excited. And then you can see the whale when you go through some of the tunnels as well. Oh man, love that whale.
Just like the aesthetic of the game inside as well, the kind of like old timey, I don't know what to call it's
the
almost
aesthetic, like the 50s aesthetic.
40s, 50s, like aesthetic there, like late 40s, early 50s kind of vibe is like really well done.
20s. Is it 20s?
Yeah, 20s? I guess so. I felt like 40s, 50s to me, but I was too young to appreciate anything, I guess.
Or is it 50s or 20s?
Yeah, I think it is 40s, like late 40s, 50s.
I have to go back to that movie, Midnight in Paris, to work out the aesthetics of each era, because he keeps going further and further back in time. And I think like 50s made the most sense to me, 'cause it's a little bit more like...
Yeah, I don't know.
There's actual like... I'm feeling 50s.
Somebody could probably Google. I feel like if I pull my phone up and Google, it'll take too long and I'll look really unprofessional. So I'm not going to do 50-ish.
50s. Nice. Yeah, they keep mentioning capitalism and stuff. That would make sense.
Yeah. It's a steampunk vibe, Jefferson in YouTube chat says. Yeah, but like it's also kind of like 50s, post World War II. Yeah. But very, very cool game. If you're thinking about dredging up some old stuff. Is it remastered now? I guess it probably is, right? Yeah, and it's kind of cool because there's go buy it when I get home. I mean, I've got it on Steam, and I'm pretty sure you can just like fire it up, and if you've got a new computer recently, it'll just run that much better. And you can also, like, so many of these old games now, you just activate shaders, and it just works better. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because I still haven't played Witcher 3 yet. I haven't either. This is actually a gamer confession. I haven't played it yet. Yeah, so you and I both haven't played it yet, but we also both bought new PCs recently. And so now we can get the experience without the slowdown. We don't have to play it on Switch, which like can't play it at all, basically. And we get to like see the pretty colors and stuff. The graphics for it on the Switch look kind of cute. I almost bought it on Switch because I like the graphics just were so impressive how they made that game run on Switch. And I was like, I just want to play it because it runs well, apparently. It just doesn't look great. But I might get it on PS5 now.
Ah, okay.
I mean, it's like a PS4 version, I guess. I don't know for sure. But I'm going to play that game when I get through with all the other backlog of games I need to play, like a Dragon Ishin that just came to my house yesterday. And I still need to finish Fire Emblem Engage. I got 2 chapters left. I'm playing on hard mode, so like, forgive me for taking forever, guys, to beat this game. But
Yeah.
2 chapters left. 25 is ridiculously hard. Then I got to play Final Fantasy 12, which I'm really looking forward to. And then there's like a million other games.
Oh wait, you get to play Zodiac Age next?
Yeah, I think I'm playing Zodiac Age after
maybe I play
Ishin.
through it again just because I loved that game.
I'm really
God, that
looking
game was
forward
so good.
to it. It looks sick.
Because I like games where you can like automate them, and like it's all about the setup and stuff like that. Like the whole Gambit system from Final Fantasy 12 was just awesome.
As soon as I heard about it and read about it, I was like, "Oh, Atlas will like this game." And then you were like, "No, I played it. It was the greatest game ever." I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah, and also their RNG manipulation is quite doable if you don't want to rely on RNG to get all of the best items.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So that's kind of good because it's like the setups are somewhat difficult, so it is still rewarding if you kind of cheat to make sure that you can get things to load into chests correctly, like the strongest bow in the game on a boat, that sort of stuff. Final Fantasy 12 or 7 remastered. I haven't played 7 remastered. I wasn't like
I played 7 Remastered's demo. When I was living in LA, that was when it came out, and I really enjoyed the demo. But I hadn't played Final Fantasy VII all the way through at that point. I'd only played it for like 2 hours, and then I lost my save file. I know I've told the story a million times, but anyway, I have now beaten 7. And after playing Chrono Cross and 7, I decided I wanted to play all the 3D Final Fantasies in order. And then I got interrupted because a lot of other games were great, because these are our results.
Yep.
But I will play Remake, but probably after the second part comes out. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I need to play through Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, you haven't even played 7 yet. 7
played
is really good. It's a really good game.
Yeah, I have it, so I'm capable of doing so. But now I just feel like I've missed the boat so hard that I just can't do it, which makes me a bad person, to be perfectly honest.
It's not a hard game. It's not a game like where you're playing it and you're like, oh god, I just want to get through this. It's pretty straightforward. It's not that long too, like 40 hours.
Yeah. Anyway, these are the standings. D plus Kia still remain on top. Bro still remain on the bottom. Unfortunately, not too much has changed. Although
Bro got close, man. They got close.
They did. And next week, KT has much more of a chance of actually eclipsing, as we see that they are matched up against one another. So game score, very, very important.
It's
and if
match
DK
69.
It is match. It's a nice match.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. Man, honestly, like, yeah. This is a tough one. Well, it's on Friday. It's on Friday. Sorry, not Tuesday.
Sadly.
They're going to take all the pressure off. We'll need the VODs. Maybe we could just cast them before the first series on Monday.
Someone get me the replay file.
Get me the replay. Yeah, maybe Chronicler would like to do that. Maybe he misses co-streaming and he just like more League of Legends. I imagine that's what it is. It's not Tuesday, Lil Freezy. I'm sorry. This is Friday. These are the games that are coming up that are going to be happening this week while we're casting the LCK. But that match is one that we're definitely going to be going over on Monday to tell you exactly how it all goes.
Yeah, for sure. Which Breath of Fire game should I play? I've never played any Breath of Fire. I have the Switch Online, so I could probably play whatever one is there. But
Breath of Fire, I played that, I think.
I heard that,
Isn't it super old? Is it mega old?
Yeah, it's really old. I think Breath of Fire 3 is on PS1, and that people like that one the most, but I'm not sure.
Give me a Zoids Valorant-like game? Holy crap, that sounds awesome. What?
Dude.
And woo. Damn, that's a call.
That's a good call, for sure.
Heck yeah. Need that. I'm gonna be thinking about that on the train home. Tell you that much. I loved Zoids, man. That show was brilliant.
Zoids was pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm. Huge fan. All right.
Here's
next,
our casted matches.
Yeah, these are the ones that are coming up. Have a look for the KT matches. As DK, that's a tough one against Humble Life Esports. If they play like they did in Game 2 against Bro, I mean, they lose that series against any team in Challenger, to be perfectly honest. But
man,
Hummer are coming for them because that team is looking better and better.
That's actually such a sick match, match 71.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, actually pretty much all of these matches could be close. I'd say
Nongshim
DRX...
T1, what? Same score lines?
DRX versus Bro, I think, based on what we saw from Bro today, could be close. And then Gen.G versus KT, I'm not expecting that one to be close. But the other three... Going to be pretty stacked, honestly.
Live Sandbox Kwangdong is definitely must-wins for these guys. Although 9 losses is kind of danger zone. But still, you need to try and keep winning. As this is the LCK week. This week is nutty.
The Saturday showdown, Hanwha versus D+ is so good, but KT versus Gen.G, revenge opportunity for Gen.G.
That's my game of the week. But KT versus Live Sandbox also, like, any of these matchups that involve Hanwha Life, D+, KT, or Live Sandbox are all so hype. And even, you know, you can sprinkle some Gen.G and T1 in there as well, just because they are so close.
Tomorrow, DRX versus DK could quietly be pretty interesting too, with, you know, DRX having a bit of a resurgence. I'm not going to say it's going to be close, but I think that one definitely is interesting. Of course, Barrel against his old team.
Yep, Dom as well against his old team.
Yeah.
They're sort of reunited in revenge. It's kind of interesting. But the thing that I find really interesting about that game is the fact that we get to check in on D+ and whether or not they've kept their mental together. Because even if they win, it's how they win that's going to tell us the most. So even tomorrow's game's going to be super hype as well. And Kwangdong, can they be good enough to take down Live Sandbox later in the week is what we need to check in on as well. I mean,
and T1, also, what's their read on 13.4 against Kwangdong? That's a happy game series potentially where we see like Aurelion Sol. Like, does Faker think Aurelion Sol is good? Is Carrier back on Nautilus? What's going on? You know, that's a good meta read, like a temperature gauge for the rest of the week. It's just good to be a League of Legends fan right now.
I think it is. I got something in my eye. Wow. Well, maybe that means that we need to stop comment if I get something in my eye. No. It's apparently not how that one goes. We do have, you know, the possibility of Aurelion Sol in the LCK as well. Just quick spoiler, don't think we're going to see it.
I don't think so.
Just no one seems to care.
I heard people are scrimming it, but no one's playing it in Challengers. And if any region or if any of the 2 leagues is going to play it, it's going to be Challengers, right? Nobody played it the last 2 days. We had a lot of games. I don't know.
Makes me a bit sad. I think it's pretty strong.
Maybe Faker plays it tomorrow. You know, maybe he's just like, I'm going to play it. Or maybe like Bulldog or Faker. I'm like, T1, they're the advantage team. Going to play it. Bulldog, solo queue, monster. Maybe he's seen something everyone else hasn't seen. It's like a very highly solo queuable champion, you know, the Aurelion Sol. Maybe he plays it. Maybe that series is like the best chance we're going to get, really, thinking about it, Kwangdong versus T1.
Yeah, maybe. Or like, I'm thinking maybe it's like a Nongshim option. Maybe it's like Nongshim are the team that
could be
could pull it out. Just like, or whoever's facing Nongshim, because Fiesta, has not been very good, and so maybe you could experiment with some different things in that sort of matchup. But I'm not entirely sure. I just want to see Asol because I think that the champion's strong.
I think it's just going to be really fun to cast. Because even though he's not quite as different from every other champion as he used to be, like before we're like, yeah, he's really different from every other champion. Now he's like, okay, he's pretty different from every other champion, but the way his kit works and how he can chase people down, his ultimate has like really cool engage opportunities with other combos. Like
the scaling's also like a really interesting factor as well, like getting so many stacks. Like, when is he going to be strong?
How big is that ult?
How many stacks are you supposed to have? Like, he's actually a ticking time bomb. Like, eventually he just blows up the entirety of the rift.
Yeah, like, I've played with him and against him on like some 50-minute solo queue games. You guys know the solo queue game that goes like 50 minutes. We're like, oh, I just actually am ready to move on with my life. I don't care if I win or I lose. Where his ult is just so huge and he's doing insane amounts of damage and execute where you're like, what?
Yeah. Isn't there like, there's a cutoff point at like 32,000, 33,000 stacks where like you just insta-kill people? Like they kill, like the E kills people if they go into the middle.
Hard to get that high, but it is possible.
Well, it's time for us to stop comment. So we are going to wish you good night and we'll see you for LCK tomorrow. Bye-bye.
시작됐습니다.